have enough. Is it long enough? It's going to be tipped and caught. It's caught. How many tackles can one man break? He's to the 20. He's to the 10. He's on the way. Totally unbelievable.
It's game day in Lincoln, America, and this is the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show.
Check this out.
The A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show is powered by Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with PRG and BHHS Ambassador Real Estate, and Ritchie Brothers.
Come on.
Get up and get loud, Husker fans. The A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show starts now.
It is game day in Lincoln, Nebraska. The game not here today. The game in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But this is the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show live from our studios, 48th and R in Lincoln. Jake Sorensen, Jay Foreman, Enrique Alvarez-Clary with you to start things off. We'll be here for 2.5 hours, rotating in and out as we prepare for Nebraska, Michigan. Huskers, 31-point dogs. If you care to look at what Vegas says, that's what they say. I mean, you play the games for a reason, though, right, Jay?
Vegas also said Nebraska was going to win 7+ games, right?
They did. They said that.
I think they had them at like 6.3.
I think it was over 7. I know some people that took the under.
Well, they had Nebraska as a 16-point dog last week, and they were up by 10 at halftime. Now, Nebraska lost by 7 still. So,
what does Vegas know?
What does Vegas know is right. Huskers going against a playoff contending team, Michigan today. Huskers 3-6 entering. We don't know right now who's starting at quarterback. We know Casey Thompson's not playing today for Nebraska. Of course, that's tough. Last week, a good opening drive by Chuba Purdy for a 7-0 lead. After that, it was sluggish with him and the team. Logan Smothers comes in the second half, plays well, but still Nebraska falls short by 7. Jay, we've been talking all week long about this game and knowing that Casey probably wasn't going to play official now as of Thursday. I mean, for you and Husker fans who watch this game, doesn't it feel like Logan Smothers should start today? Should? Not will, but should start?
Yes and
based
no.
on what you've seen?
Yes and no. Ultimately, Mark Whipple's going to make that decision, I'm assuming. He's the quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. So, I mean, obviously, I think it's going to be a collaborative thing. So, but Mickey's giving him runway to kind of, do his thing. So, it doesn't really matter what we think. I think, I'll say this. I don't think Chuba's played as good as he should have.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, I don't think he's really been put in a situation that he could really be fairly judged. Essentially, he hadn't. I didn't know Illinois game. He hadn't practiced pretty much all week, and then Logan played the last. Correct me now, everybody. On the text line, is the text line open?
Yeah, it is. Text line's open.
The Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. The Honda and Lincoln hotline 402-464-5685. Feel free to text in. Correct me if I'm wrong. Logan played the last series and a half, the Illinois game, right?
Did he play the last series and a half?
He got in.
He did
the Illinois game. He got in right after Casey got hurt.
Yes,
and after that, it was Chuba the rest of the way.
Okay,
that's right. Yep.
Well, yeah. Well, he replaced Casey, and then at halftime, Mark Whipple said, "I looked in his eye. He was ready. He had the."
He said he asked him in the locker room if he was good, and he said he was ready.
He had the gleam. Remember Marty Schottenheimer, the gleam? I was talking about like the gleam, man. It's the gleam. Usually when you look at the looks that we get in Rico, you might get the people looking at you, our better halves want to knock our heads off. We don't get the gleam.
No.
And so that's not a fair situation, not practicing. You know what I mean? That's just me. Like it'd be, now granted, if it's during the game and you got to go in there, and my first real NFL action was based on somebody injured, but I'd practiced that week, right? It might only been 3 or 4 plays at a different position that I normally wasn't playing, but I had practiced actually that week all year.
Yeah.
So that's not fair. It's almost like Cody. Remember when Cody Glenn got thrown in against? You weren't here.
I was watching Nebraska then.
You were young.
Yeah.
Were you even out of high school then?
Cody Glenn or Cody Green?
Cody Green.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was in college in 2002.
When both threw him, everybody was talking about we want
Cody
Green.
Freshman year.
He's like, okay, I'll show you. I'm going to put him in against Oklahoma, backed up, cold game, third quarter, and I'm going to burn his red shirt as well on the 1 yard line.
I recall.
Yeah,
I remember it.
So it's the same type of situation. So it's not really fair. So you can't really. Well, first of all, that's not fair to Chuba, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, right? Now you could say, hey, let's see how you react, but if you don't practice quarterback's unless you're like Tom Brady or in this case Casey, where you've kind of been, the offense, it's hard to not.
Oh, especially with those guys where they don't have much game reps anyways. Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Especially with Chuba, who coming from Florida State, he got maybe one start in a throwaway game for the Seminoles.
Right.
So it wasn't like you just said, it wasn't a great situation. He practiced one time that week.
Situation wasn't the fair. So can you really evaluate it? You're more evaluating the decision to put him in there. I'm willing to give him a break there. Starting against Minnesota.
Yep.
Okay, he went and started out 6 for 6, and he didn't throw the ball past the line of scrimmage.
It was short passes,
but it wasn't past.
It
wasn't past the line of scrimmage. I don't think everything was like screens and
Screeners.
like.
Well, that was a change in the offense as opposed to what it would look like if Casey Thompson would have been starting because against Illinois
that's fine. But at the end of the day, no ball went past the line of scrimmage.
No.
And then when they did down in the red zone, there's like 3 picks that Minnesota could have had.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so then it wasn't
you're
then
playing to his strengths,
and the offense. The offense went stymied, right? And then when Logan came in, he just operates a little bit better. But I will say this about Chuba is that both quarterbacks, but in particular Chuba, the drops.
They hurt, yeah.
It hurt him.
Trey Palmer had a couple, 2 bad drops.
And so Baby Gronk had 2. And I think there was another one in there. And then, of course, Oliver Martin with Logan. So the whole, I guess, aura around Chuba after that game, a Minnesota game, would be different if and these are catchable balls. These aren't going up in traffic trying to catch it one hand.
And they weren't quacks either.
The first drop by Travis was a little because it got tipped, but even then it hit him in the hands.
If it hits your hands, you got to catch it.
Yeah.
Right. So the aura around Chuba would be different if the catches were there because his stats would be better.
But
then hold on, I'm rolling with you now.
Let him go. Let him go.
But the same thing happened for Logan. I think where people have a huge issue is that was a clean drop by Oliver Martin. The hook is quick. It's like
pulled him out right after that.
You're done.
Yeah,
like you're done. Sit down for a while. Then we're gonna put you in when the
final drive.
Right, and he actually did okay. Well, then another big drop. Now, granted, I'll tell you this: 3rd down, Logan, you're fast. Go get the first down. Okay, that's fine.
What do you think's going through his head at that moment?
Well, he's
trying to make a play.
You're sitting around, chilling. I mean, he's probably trying to do. He's almost trying to play perfect. I think because he's thinking like, hey, he's out there saying, I want to prove to you that I can throw the ball.
I say, is that one of those things?
It is because he just dropped it and he just dropped the NFL pass on you to Washington. Let me continue to throw it, but he should have just went back to natural instincts, get the first down. Let's keep it rolling because you had over a minute left. 4th down, hey. If you want to play in the NFL, you got to make the catch.
Well, that was a good throw. That was a very catchable.
It was
on the money. In your arms.
It was on the money. You got to catch it. And
you could
to
tell
answer your question, I could see why he's maybe starting Chuba this week. And then when Mickey and Whipple said that Logan needs to practice better, I understand that because as a coach, that's what you kind of see who's ready. But I doubt he's getting a whole bunch of practice reps anyway. So I think today will tell you more if there's a split in series or reps. That'll tell you more than anything.
And that's like
because it doesn't really matter right now who starts because if we're in the quarterback room and say I get to go out there first for the first 2 series and Enrico comes in, does it really matter because Enrico would have been but if
I get it and I play well, it doesn't matter that you started the game. If I'm playing well, hopefully they ride with the hot hand.
Because after the 50-50 split or whatever it is, then they're going to go with who's operating well. So then, but if it's like, hey, Chuba's starting and, Logan, you just be ready. Yeah, that Sunday morning and next week is not going to be fun for anybody down there.
Yeah, it's just tough. I mean, this is a team obviously they're struggling. They're 3-6 right now. They have to win out to make a bowl game, which seems very unlikely at this point. And you could have thought that was possible, not winning out, but at least a bowl game was possible if they just win the game last week. If they close out, they're up 10-0 at halftime, they have momentum at halftime, and they give up 20 points in a row, and they lose by 7. And then all the air is out of the balloon. Everything that you were building up to maybe have some momentum to close out the season and maybe get to a bowl game, just seems like it's not possible right now. So today, I mean, you're going in there as a giant killer. You're a severe underdog. You have to play the underdog card. You can't just go out there and mope and give up on and look dead from the start of the game. They have to find a way to make Michigan sweat a little bit, like Rutgers did last week, up by 3 at halftime against Michigan,
and then changed everything they were doing.
Yeah.
They decided
to
go away from what they were doing. Nebraska,
you're up by 3, man. Don't switch.
Nebraska's got to go into this game and have that chip on their shoulder, where like you said, the giant killers, the playoff ruiners. They got to go in there and think, look, Michigan's looking over you. They're not talking. Harbaugh was asked one question about Nebraska this week. One question. Other than that, him, Blake Corum, all the other people were talking about Ohio State in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They got Nebraska, Illinois, and then Ohio State. They're looking forward to Ohio State. They're not looking at Nebraska. You have to go in there with that chip on your shoulder and be the giant killer, be the playoff ruiner, and take it to Michigan, because, like you said, you can't go in there and feel bad about yourself because nobody else feels bad for you.
Right. Yeah. I think today you can look at a lot of things, right? Who's real and who's fake. That's number one. Straight up. If you're a competitor or not. Because if you like to compete and you're okay with being physical, this is the perfect game for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to show up. Don't just go all the way to Ann Arbor and go up there and be okay with getting your butt kicked. That's how coaches get fired, right? This is a personal choice right here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're at, everybody on the team has earned it, right, wrong, or indifferent. You've had a new season start over after the bye week with Mickey, so you're essentially 2-3, right? In my opinion, you gave of those 3 losses, you gave away 2 of them. That's on Nebraska, and so then it needs to be in that locker room. We're disrespected both by the spread and by the head coach and everybody on that team. It's almost like they're getting ready to go up and ask a girl, to prom. She looking past you to get the star football player down there. And here you are. And if you really believe in yourself, you're thinking like, well, I'm going to be the next CEO of this tech company. You're losing out.
Give her a run, baby. Come on, give her a run.
Michigan is treating this like a bye game.
Make her see ya.
No, you know what Michigan's treating this like practice. And I would tell them, they don't respect you. And you know what? They ain't never going to respect you until you go take it. And that's really what it comes down to. You have to decide when enough is enough. Forget blaming the coaches. Forget blaming the situation, the pressure at Nebraska. First of all, people are done hearing excuses, right? I'm tired of hearing other guys get on the say media guys. Oh, we don't have talent, or Nebraska's a tough place to win, or the pressure's too much, or it's Mike Riley's fault, or it ain't. At some point in time in your life, better yet, hopefully today, enough has got to be enough. When are you tired of losing, and when are you tired of getting your butt kicked? When do you want to change how you get onto that bus? You know what I mean? And if there's a way to, like, if you have 4 goals that we're going to go up and say, we're going to keep the penalties low. We're going to, stick to our game plan. We're going to tackle well. We're going to make Michigan beat us. Then you can kind of get back. Okay, we made a step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. But if you get off that bus today at the stadium and you already have that defeatist mentality, like, let's just go through the motions, poor me.
Let's just try to keep it close.
Try to keep it close, or just, and there's a way that you can look like you're playing hard on TV, but you're really not.
Yeah.
You're kind of just doing enough to make it fake.
Going through the motions, maybe.
Right. See, that's got to be gone.
This is a place, Michigan, Nebraska, in Scott Frost's first year, Nebraska was trailing 39-0 at halftime at Michigan. Now, last year, again, if you want to have a reason to believe, there's a lot of guys on this team that played in this game last year, which was a great football game. Nebraska had a chance to beat Michigan in Lincoln. That was a playoff team. Right. Michigan ended up winning the conference and going to the playoff. And in this very stadium, 1 year ago, Nebraska had a very good chance of winning that game until a late turnover hurt them.
Yeah, so as you're driving to win the game.
Exactly. So, there's guys that know, hey, Michigan's good, but we pushed these guys last year when they were also a very good team. There has to be that belief and that mentality that we can do it again.
Right. They had 2 first-round picks on the defensive side of the ball. Both of them defensive are
gone. Ojabo and Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm. One of their defensive backs went like 2nd, 3rd round, and some other guys got some chance. So don't come talking to me that like they got better. Now, granted, they're a great team. I'm not taking anything away from them. And their running back, Haskins, was the 3rd or 4th round. He's at the Titans now. Yep. Right? So that's one. They had the 1-2 punch there that was really killing people. So at the end of the day, now granted, we lost some guys too.
Yeah, we did. A lot of guys, yeah.
But there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of guys that have played, and a lot of guys that played well
in this game last year.
So there needs to be no fear. You don't want to be in the second or third quarter and be like, man, these dudes really ain't that good. Then you start trying. Then you be like, oh, well, Nebraska.
And you're already down 21.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Well, think about Michigan this year in general. They've not been a good first half team. They were tied with Indiana at halftime. They were up by 2 on Penn State at halftime. Again, down by 3 to Rutgers at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
They have been very uninspiring in the first half. They have been really forceful in the second half. The third quarter
they have been phenomenal.
Their adjustments at halftime is something totally different. But then, you said it multiple times this week. It seems as if every time after halftime, the team that's beating them or is close just changes what's working.
And they change. You know what it is? They come in at halftime, and the whole week everybody's been telling them there's no way you're going to win. You're going. I'm sure they had to be favored close to 30 against Rutgers, right? And I mean, heck, Rutgers is.
I think they're a 36-point favorite against Rutgers.
And so they're the whole week, and then you get out there and Rutgers punched. I mean, I watched that game.
They punched
Rutgers punched them dead in their mouth, and they had a nice offense. They were taking what they could get, defense which they were playing well. And then they get into halftime and they thought we've done enough. And see the difference between that I see with Michigan's team versus last year. Last year they withstood the punch, then counter punch. Now they'll stand the punch this year, then they try to knock you out. So knowing that, you just got to stay within yourself. Like Rutgers had a game plan in the first half, and they came out and did the total opposite the next.
I don't get that.
They outsmarted themselves.
Right.
They thought, okay, we've run the ball with a lot of success. Now we're going to come out here and we're going to run some play action, and they're going to think we're going to run, but we're going to pass it with our quarterbacks who can't pass.
Right. Yeah. And we haven't passed it all year, but we're going to pass it against one of the best defenses in the nation
because they won't see it coming, right?
They don't have a guy over 10 catches, but you know what? These guys are going to just have the game.
Yeah, this is the day. Watch this second half. Let's light them up, baby.
Top 10 defense is the day.
The best mindset is let's make this game boring. Let's make them uncomfortable. Let's keep this boring. Let's see how many first downs we can get. Let's make this boring. Let's make this a whole home game.
Like with Mickey, you got to be okay with 3 yards.
Why wouldn't you?
You'll be more than okay with 3 yards.
Why wouldn't you?
Mickey wants to extend the game. Yeah.
Why
he wants to make it
my math isn't good, but if you go 3.5 yards for 3 plays, you get a first down. My math is not good. Well, first of all, my grades weren't very good, but
like I'm not good with numbers.
But I know that when I get on my iPhone, if I go 3 times 4, it does come up with 12 100% of the time. So it's got to be that. We got to catch the ball. You know what I'm saying? And we got to. I mean, it's not like we don't have skilled players that can compete with, like I'm talking about offensively, compete with and make plays against them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So don't get it's not like we're a Michigan is treating Nebraska like a non-conference game. That's exactly what they're treating them like.
This week,
this is like
in Ann Arbor is like Alabama's game today.
Yeah,
it's the mid.
Well, Alabama
plays next week. Next week. The SEC, not this week. The SEC like end of the season before your big game.
Chattanooga today.
Yeah, they're acting like they're playing like East Tennessee State or something.
Yeah.
Quick update in the Big Ten. Some scores in the early games. Ohio State up 28-7 on Indiana in the second quarter. Illinois, Purdue tied at 7. Illinois has the ball on Purdue's 37 driving there. And Rutgers, Michigan State tied up at 7. Michigan State about to score deep in Rutgers territory. That's all those games in the second quarter of action. Again, Nebraska, Michigan today kicks off 2:30 p.m. in Ann Arbor. We'll lead you all the way up until kickoff here on the ticket. I see AD and Rapper in the building. I see Nick's in the building. So
Nick's like that. What was that cartoon when Winnie the Pooh when he smelled that honey? Is it Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah. Winnie the Pooh. You're gonna call Nick Winnie the Pooh? You should call him that on the airwaves.
When he smelled them wings.
That's like the honey.
He's bother.
Yeah. He floated in there.
All right, when we come back, we'll get AD and Raffin here as well as Nick Sainert. More next on the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show live from our studio today here on 93.7 The Ticket.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option with buying or selling commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Biker with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expanded collection of wine, beers, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's Post-Game Show and the Final Word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's Post-Game Show and the Final Word. Live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding. Our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-46. We were built on small values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
M Suits Clothiers, your Lincoln choice for men's clothing 5 years running. Everyone should own a suit, at least one. M Suits has the largest selection of suits, sports coats, pants, and shoes. Plus, their in-house tailoring will have your suit ready when you need it. For the next business trip or a new job interview, M Suits will have you looking and best in a new suit. So if you don't own a well-fitting suit, go see them at M Suits Clothiers, 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built upon hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with room for advancement.
Reward yourself with Kasasa Free Checking. Liberty First Credit Union invites you to open a free Kasasa checking account and earn up to 3% APY for up to $30,000. Get paid for banking. What are you waiting for? Earning a high reward rate is easy, and Kasasa Checking is always free. Liberty First Credit Union offers free online banking and bill pay, free e-statements, free mobile banking. LibertyFirstCU.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina is the talk of the Haymarket, and for good reason. Grab a breakfast taco on a game day morning or stop by for lunch or dinner for their huge variety of street taco options. They have everything from carne asada or chorizo tacos to shrimp or fish tacos, buffalo chicken, and more. Plus, they have more than 140 different tequilas and tons of other beer or mixed drink options. There's truly something for everyone. Make plans to stop by for any meal of the day at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rvauction.com/Lincoln.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete.
Bowling, check. Arcade, check. Laser tag, check. Mini golf,
Check.
Sand volleyball, cornhole, bocce, food, drinks.
Check.
The newly renovated Sun Valley Lanes and Games has something fun to offer for guests of all ages.
Win prizes in the arcade or challenge your friends in one of the many attractions.
Plan a night of fun by reserving your spot online at sunvalleylanes.com.
Sun Valley.
Back
That's what you do, keep it.
to the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show, presented by Mullen Motors on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
Sure you feel the
All right, welcome in. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. This segment sponsored by Mullen Motors. Upgrade your car today with a large variety of used cars to choose from at Mullen Motors, just north of 48th and Layton. Nick Sainert, Chris Raff, Aaron Davis hanging out with you guys. We got the Drive crew from every single day on Monday through Friday hanging out with you guys as we get you ready for Nebraska, Michigan. Kicking off in a little over 2 hours on ABC. Huskers 30.5-point underdog. It is starting to snow in Ann Arbor. How are we feeling, gents?
You know, it's not snowing here, it spit a little bit this morning. Not long, but I like the fact that that it is snowing.
Yeah,
there to slow the game down. In fact, one of my oldest son, AD, he's there with some of his law school buddies at the game.
Oh, nice.
So they're up in Ann Arbor hanging out, but it looked cold from that picture he sent me though.
Yeah. So here's what's interesting. I wonder if a game like this where the weather is the way it is, snowing, cold, it's not a great condition to pass the football, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as if the conversation that obviously we've had the last couple of weeks has been run the football. Nebraska needs to run the football. Mickey Joseph came out and said it earlier this week. Our number one job is to run the football. We know Mark Whipple doesn't like to run the football. I wonder if it's almost just a game like today with the weather the way it is just going to force him. Like he's going to have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, if Nebraska comes away from this one with a similar outcome as the last couple weeks, number one, we'd be kind of happy because Nebraska's a much bigger underdog than they have been. Number two, it would be the third week in a row that you had a recipe for success and you elected not to follow the recipe for the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unacceptable in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think he has a choice today. I think either you come out, the weather conditions say run the football.
Yeah.
Just if it's going to be snowy, blustery, windy, they said some showers possibly. If it's going to be like that, you run the football. And if he does not run the football, it would not surprise me one bit that come, a quarter way through the game, halfway through the game, that he's not calling the plays.
Which is wild because here's the deal. Mickey, obviously the head coach, Mickey's got a lot of other things to worry about than to have to worry about calling plays. Like, and we said that with Scott Frost and understandably so, but and Frost, that's part of his pedigree is calling plays. But as a head coach, you would probably like it if you didn't have to worry about controlling the offense, right? Especially now, however, like we said, this conversation is much different if maybe Mickey it takes control of this thing all the way back in the first or couple weeks into him having the interim job and either makes a change at offensive coordinator or figures out a way of listen, hey, Mark, listen, this is my ass on the line too here.
Right.
Like I know, I understand you're getting to the age where you're ready to retire, but hey man, I'm young and ripe and we're still ready to, I'm still coaching. Like this is my future on the line here.
Yep.
The thing, when we sound like a broken record, we've been talking about how it's going to be imperative to run the ball. In a game like this, again, it's imperative that you establish the run game early because Michigan's going to.
Well, yeah.
Quorum's at 199 carries for 1,100, almost 1,200 yards in the season.
131 yards per game.
131 per game. The guy's averaging 6 yards a carry. I mean, so 16 touchdowns on the year. They're going to be alerting him, and also Edwards, the other backup running back. He's a beast too. He's got 500 yards for the season, so he's averaging 6.7 a carry. And obviously, we can go for their defense. Obviously, is stacked. Their offense is stacked. McCarthy is a field general. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes with the football. And it's going to. They just play smart football.
Yep.
That's why Michigan's number 3.
I mean, is it safe to say they're just like every other team in the Big Ten conference that
The
actually,
leaders?
yeah, that are well coached.
Yep.
They have supreme talent, and they're
Run the
just
football.
disciplined.
And you know what? And you're spot on, Nick. Not only disciplined, but they know who they are.
Yeah.
And they know who they aren't. So they don't try to do the things they're not good at. So they're going to impose their will on you because, like I said, they're an established program.
That's one of those things where if Nebraska loses this game today by 14 points and J.J. McCarthy goes out and throws for 275 yards and 3 touchdowns, and that's how you lost, and you hold Blake Corum to 100 yards on the ground, you're going to walk away saying, listen, you made Michigan beat you in a way that they weren't planning to have to beat you.
Correct.
And that's just the way it is. Like, but here's the frustrating part. If Nebraska comes away from this game and it looks like the Purdue style where you're not going to be able to put up 40 plus points on Purdue or on Michigan, excuse me, like you were against Purdue,
right?
Like you were against Georgia Southern. But if Nebraska walks away from this one with only 17 minutes of time of possession compared to 42 and change for Michigan, and Michigan covers the spread, they win 56-7 or whatever it may be, that's where it's going to be frustrating because that's something you can control. Right. You can help control the time of possession. And how do you do that? Run the football and play a disciplined type of game, things you can control. And here's the deal. Nebraska, just because of who Michigan is and who Nebraska is right now in their program, Nebraska might play a disciplined football game. They might go out and play a competitive game and have effort and make tackles, but there's still a chance that Michigan beats you by 14 or 17 points. That's just the lay of the land. That's just the truth.
Yep.
There's a way that Nebraska goes out, plays their best game of the season, discipline wise, has few penalties, is able to have some sustainable success on offense running the football, and at the end of the day, it's still a 14-point Michigan win, and that's just where they're at as a program.
You know, go ahead, Raf.
No, I was just gonna say it's very true, but I think the weather is going to play a factor for Nebraska where they can, possess the ball. We were talking about it earlier in the week. I think that our offensive line, I'm not going to say their strengths, they have a lot of them, but I think one of the things that they do decently well is they run block. So if Nebraska can possess the ball, make it a possession game where they're, getting some yards, they don't have to score on every drive, but at least get it out to the 40, 45 where they can pin Michigan back deep. And make it a slugfest type of game. I think that plays to Nebraska's advantage. But if Nebraska, like you said, if they only have 17 minutes of time of possession at the end of this game, it's going to be an ugly score.
It's going to be important. Let's, from a defense perspective, we'll talk some more offense kind of all over the place. But it's going to be imperative that defense gets off the field, man. Yeah. I mean, if you let Michigan lean on you for 35 minutes, 40 minutes, heaven forbid, it's going to be a long day. Yep. It's going to be a long day.
Well, it's also wild. I mean, you think about it. You got to get bodies to the ball. You got to get heads to the ball. Because now one thing we kind of haven't talked about in the later stages of the week, Miles Farmer's not going to be there.
Right.
He's not going to be there. And as much as you want to talk about how many bad angles Miles Farmer has taken, which he has, he's taken a lot of poor angles, had a lot of poor tackling effort, whatever. Put that stuff aside. He's still one of the top leaders in tackles with 62 on the season.
And has improved dramatically with the past couple of weeks.
Bingo, exactly.
Did they say he was in on 20 tackles last week?
In a defensive backfield that features a freshman and a couple other new faces, to have some stability in terms of who's going to be back there is crucial. Well, now you take that away. The front seven have to be able to get guys down. They have to be able to kind of try and contain not only Blake Corum, but also J.J. McCarthy. And now I will say there's been a couple of decent efforts since Bill Busch has taken over. So it's not that I'm saying that the Nebraska defense is going to look, incompetent today. Yeah. But here's the deal. If Blake Corum is able to get to that second or third level, it's going to be game over. Yeah, it's going to be game over unless Deshaun Singleton or Phelan Sanford, whoever's filling in for Miles Farmer, is able to have an exceptional game in the game of their career, because you're missing a guy that has 62 tackles on the season.
Yeah. And there's a lot that I think I hate talking about NFL because I feel like it should be all about Nebraska, but there's a lot of money out there to be made by a lot of different players today, because we spoke last year about Cam Taylor-Britt.
Yeah.
They went after him. He played a great game, probably was one of the main reasons why he was drafted in the second round by the Bengals. So now you look at today, you've got like the Garrett Nelsons, the Ty Robinsons. You got O'Shawn Mathis. That you have a big game today. This vaults you up. This gets you that recognition that you've been looking for. So there's a lot. I know a lot of people are like, well, there's not a lot on the line because we're, our record's not that great, 3-6. But there's a lot
on the line.
But there's
there's still okay. At the end of the day, there's still a bowl game on the line.
For some way, somehow you pull this game off today, there's still a bowl game on the line.
Yeah.
And then also, you pull this game off again today, Trev's job gets a little bit more difficult too.
Well, I think what's wild. I mean, and I've talked to multiple media members. I talked to you guys about this as well. Like, we sit here and think about how wildly different the conversation is if Nebraska sticks to what they were doing in the first half of Illinois and Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
The conversation we are having today is not Nebraska needs to make a change from at offense coordinator. It is Nebraska needs to win one more game
to be bowl eligible
under an interim head coach that took over as of yesterday, 2 months from today, or excuse me, 2 months and a day from today. He took over. September 11th was when Scott Frost got fired and Mickey Joseph got the interim tag. It's been an excruciating long 2 months.
Yes, it has.
Excruciating long with all the rumors, with all the injuries, with now the off the field news within the team and program. It's been excruciatingly long.
And it's something you think about this, man. For the players, it shows you the resolve you have to have to stay down and stay focused with. But everything you just mentioned right there, Nick. Yeah. I'm not saying I ever accept it. I'm not going to, but I can see why the players just mentally tapped.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what next? We need stability so bad in this program.
Oh, yeah.
Man. And Mickey's doing his best to provide that. But I think we're going to know a lot of here. It's just time. We're going to know pretty quick here. We have to. The portal opens up, less than a month away.
Yep.
Your early signing period, which is basically your signing period, that's in January. So those are discussions that have been had. It's going to wrap up pretty quick.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of just go through the last 2 months and a day from now and list off everything that's been taxing this program because the list just goes on, and it's from everything as small as the Miles Farmer getting arrested for a DUI charge and being suspended until further notice, and to a much bigger problem where you may have an offensive coordinator that's just too damn stubborn to do what's best for the program. You're talking a small problem, and then all the way on a scale to a giant problem. And then from a foundational standpoint,
we're gonna get a possible new coach like every other day. I mean,
exactly. we got people. Man, I know you guys saw that tweet that I sent out yesterday.
I think a lot of people did.
Gee, okay, so that tweet blew up. But here's the deal. Sports Illustrated wrote an article about it. I don't know if you guys saw it. Yeah. You said that to me, AD.
Yeah, I said it to you.
Thanks for tagging me.
That's what we needed to do.
I needed followers. Chris Raff 7.
So here's what's wild about it is
the
best part is that there's people in the replies, and I hope some of those people are listening, because there's people in the replies that are saying that we did this for clicks.
No.
And I love that aspect. We set that up.
Yeah.
That Strick never texted Dion.
Strick doesn't.
That Dion never texted Strick. That we all set. It was basically a play or a skit that we set up. Thank you, Jay. Jay's on board with that too. But I wanted. Now I didn't reply to anybody, but I wanted to sit there and be like, but that makes us sound, number one, irresponsible. Doesn't make us credible. Doesn't give us accuracy like we aim for. Like there is no win there.
No.
And then,
do you know how easy that would be to find that out if it was just something you made up?
Oh, it'd be great.
Yeah,
I mean, come on,
it's true.
Come on, big.
But I don't know. This is coming from Mr. PPB, so I don't know.
Hey, PPB got like 27 followers yesterday. So anyway,
oh man,
see, Jake? Elon Musk needs to verify me.
Everyone out there, Chris Raff 7, Twitter. I need followers.
Nah. But no. So anyway, once again, A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show. This segment sponsored by Mullen Motors. Upgrade your car today with a large variety of used cars to choose from at Mullen Motors, just north of 48th and Layton. Nick, Raff, AD hanging out with you guys. All right, couple more. We're gonna stick around. We'll sub in and out. That's how these pregame shows work. I don't know where Nate's at. Is he here? Okay, cool. Because I know he said he was going to be late because somebody made cinnamon rolls, and that's why he was going to be late. Seems like a lousy excuse, but listen. All right, he's here.
And I can hear Nate's voice doing Nate, what are you talking about? Mind the bacon and chicken.
Nate decided to show up.
Isn't Virginia
Virginia Tech. How is
Yeah,
Virginia Tech doing
I figured he'd be
against?
They were up
Let me see.
3-0 last I
against
saw.
Duke.
And when we
Because
come back, we'll definitely come with some score updates.
yeah,
too.
no. So we'll come back here in a moment. Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and take a break. When we come back, I don't know who's going to join. I mean, we're just going to sub in and out. We'll
It's
be here
a
for the next hour and a half or so.
What
Jay
did I
just
say?
decides to walk in when we're still on the air here.
A potpourri.
But shout out to Jay for and shout out to
Jay
Wayne Scott.
Foreman.
Big shout out to Jay Foreman. The All-American came through. The Hall of Famer came through with the chicken.
Yeah, he came in with the chicken wings.
I expected a chicken sandwich.
Did you?
That's right. You can. Jay's right there. You can talk to him about it.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Next time, Jay,
All right,
next
let's
time.
let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we will be joined by another list of on-air personalities and hosts and former players and all that good stuff right here on the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. We are just a little under 2 hours from kickoff between Huskers and Wolverines from the Big House in Ann Arbor. We'll be right back on the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers ample to make the process as stress-free as 419 real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Ambassador Real Estate. Ritchie Brothers' new satellite yard lets free up space at your property and get local access at Ritchie Brothers Auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it on at Ritchie Brothers Auction Iron or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina is the talk of the Haymarket, and for good reason. Grab a breakfast taco on a game day morning or stop by for lunch or dinner for their huge variety of street taco options. They have everything from carne asada or chorizo tacos to shrimp or fish tacos, buffalo chicken, and more. Plus, they have more than 140 different tequilas and tons of other beer or mixed drink options. There's truly something for everyone. Make plans to stop by for any meal of the day at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word, live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Reward yourself with Kasasa Free Checking. Liberty First Credit Union invites you to open a free Kasasa checking account and earn up to 3% APY for up to $30,000. Get paid for banking. What are you waiting for? Earning a high reward rate is easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. Liberty First Credit Union offers free online banking and bill pay, free East statements, free mobile banking, and so much more. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Nebraska fans, Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln is a proud donor of Nebraska Athletics. Brokers Insurance Agency is located at 33rd and A Streets in the heart of Lincoln. At Brokers, they can help you with all your insurance needs. Let them worry about your insurance so you have more time to enjoy football season. Call one of their licensed agents today at 402-420-5353 or visit their website at brokersinsurancene.com. Go Big Red.
M Suits Clothiers, your Lincoln choice for men's clothing 5 years running. Everyone should own a suit, at least one. M Suits has the largest selection of suits, sports coats, pants, and dress shoes. Plus, their in-house tailoring will have your suit ready when you need it. For the next business trip or a new job interview, M Suits will have you looking and feeling your best in a new suit. So if you don't own a well-fitting suit, go see them at M Suits Clothiers, 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road.
Hey, who caught that ball? That field goal was good, right? Is the scoreboard fuzzy to anyone else?
Dude, you have got to get your eyes checked, man.
If you're noticing that the game is getting a little tougher to follow, it might be time for a checkup at Premier Vision. They have state-of-the-art equipment, a variety of frames, and great lens options. Visit Premier Vision today, just south of Van Dorn at 84th and Firethorn.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street. Back to the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show, brought to you by Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show.
I know he had him.
That's low kid. You know what's good.
He started feeling it.
You know what's good.
They had it in him like that.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Who is this, Eminem?
You know what's good.
Eminem?
Hey, we're going to win today. I'm telling you right now. All right,
I've got the feeling.
I've got the itch. We got to read this. This segment is sponsored by our good friends, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits. Worldwide selection, local expertise, more than 3,000 wines, 2,000 spirits, and 1,500 beers and seltzers. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits next to Hy-Vee on North 27th Street. Good place. I've been there a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
We've been there a couple times.
We have been there a couple times.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits. Probably make a trip today, this afternoon, this evening, after a Nebraska win. Nick, AD, Nate, Jay Foreman in here. What's up, gents?
Well, it's getting T-minus hour and 15 minutes till game time? 2 hours? Actually, hour and 15.
Yeah,
2:30. Yeah. About an hour and a half away from it, give or take.
They're in the locker room, I'm assuming, by now.
Yeah.
It's on and popping.
They're here.
You know what? I'm gonna ask each one of you guys this, because here, first of all, there's when you're favored to lose by 30 points. You're in the big house. And let's keep this perspective too. Some of these kids on this roster have never played in an audience size this big before.
True.
Think about that. Some of those guys have never played in a stadium this big. It's going to be cold. We have a propensity to get away from what works. But if you're the coaches, what is your message to the kids in a game like this?
We dangerous. You ain't got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to lose. I'd ask them, just say, okay, so just say this, if it's guaranteed we're going to lose by 31 points, what's the difference if we lost by 40 if we went up there and played our best?
That's right.
But if we're dangerous because we know we can play with them, because you could just put on the tape from last year.
Yeah.
They were playing for everything,
Mhm.
and it was a night game. It was a national TV game. So we ain't no punks, and you could say this team isn't as talented, Michigan, as it was last year, because you had the number 2 pick in the draft. Then I would say, do you guys think that they're 31 points better than you? Because if you are, I could just cancel the game, and we could actually save everybody money, and we could just say 31-0 and forfeit the game, and we could just get on to Wisconsin.
Right. It's one of those things where it's like, let me know who wants to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, don't tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Show over the
Yeah.
next 4 quarters that you actually want to be.
We've had a lot of talking going on all since the offseason.
Yeah.
Whether it's on Instagram and all what you call it. Okay, now it's the show, because this is what this is going to show you who really likes the hit.
Yeah,
physical, because you can get physical contact, and who's really a true competitor. Because it's easy to compete when it's easy.
When it's easy to compete, when it's your point, when you're at home and it's 65 degrees.
Yeah, and there's 90,000 people in your face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you got over 100,000 plus, it's cold. There's a running back. He's going to lean on you a lot. You'll find out who. Because honestly, guys, I think we're going to know. I'm going to say it as the second. The first, they'll probably come out banging. First of all, Michigan, they're home. It's hyped up.
Yeah.
Withstand the storm, though. Withstand the storm, and I'm going to see who's flying up to the ball when it's middle of the second quarter, and maybe they're up 10 or 7. Maybe we're up 10 or 7. Right. What I'm simply saying is this: you'll find out the guys when they just kind of start quitting when it gets cold, and it's at Michigan. You're going to find out who your ball players are. Now, I don't foresee that happening. Us guys quitting. I just don't see it, but I'm going to say we'll be able to see some things.
There's also a point to where you're sitting here ahead of the game. The guys aren't stupid. They understand how big of an underdog they are. They get that. They understand. They've heard 31-point underdogs or 30.5-point underdogs, whatever it may be. They're not stupid. They have social media. They know what's going on. They also understand that Michigan has been talking about Ohio State already.
Oh, yeah.
People have been talking about Ohio State, Michigan already, and how much playoff implications that game's going to have. Guess what? That game loses all playoff implications if Nebraska's somehow able to get the job done today.
Yeah, well,
spoiler here. There's got to be a part of you where you're like, hell yeah, I want to be that team.
I want to take that in.
We have an opportunity to make national impact here.
That's gonna be part of it. But you know what the big part of it is? You ain't gonna disrespect me. No,
that's true. Yeah,
that's one thing you ain't gonna do.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
You can kick my butt or whatever. I mean, you can beat us or whatever, but I'm gonna take the respect.
Absolutely.
Because I'm gonna run right down the middle of your face as many times as I can.
Over and over.
I'm here.
Every
time. Yeah.
Over and over.
I don't care about no play or nothing. As soon as you come over here, as soon as you pull, there ain't even no question.
Lemon pepper. It's that lemon pepper.
Well,
Jason, you're gonna disrespect me. That lemon pepper said, "Watch this."
Like I was on the hot wing challenge.
Let me ask you guys this. That's right. You ready to go out there and play now after that? Ready to go.
Yeah, I could maybe knock
you got some. I know. You got some fire in your diaphragm.
I gotta knock it out of my lungs right there, man.
Let me ask you guys this, because we were talking off air, and Rico was saying that the weather is going to play to Michigan's strengths. I said, okay, that's fine. You've already competed against top running backs in the country.
Yeah.
Like, you can throw Blake Corum obviously into that category. You've already played Ibrahim. You've already played Brown. And you know what? In the first half of both those games,
absolutely,
you shut them down. You
Right.
shut them down.
It's a great point.
And make J.J. McCarthy beat you.
It's a great point.
Seriously.
On the flip
make
side,
him beat you.
On the flip side of that, also, I would argue that it doesn't necessarily not play into what Nebraska could do well.
I agree.
Like they've shown the last couple weeks in the first half of each of those games, they've been able to run the ball.
Yeah.
Against stingy Big Ten West defense.
I mean, Illinois defense, no punk.
No, they're not.
And then you also have where Anthony Grant was averaging over 120 yards through the first 4 games of the season. So the only problem has been the lack of willingness to stick with it or continue to try and operate that way. Now, obviously, averages, yards per game is going to go down when you have a bigger sample size. And Anthony Grant, great that he averages 5.5 in the first half. He won't be averaging 5.5 at the end of the game. It might be a 4.3, but you still take that.
But Illinois,
but here's the deal:
you've shown the similar type.
You've shown the ability, and that's the thing. But you've shown the ability to where your offense has been able to run the ball to some extent. So I wouldn't even say that the weather plays more into Michigan than it does Nebraska. I would say that the way that Nebraska chooses to run their offense, it might favor Michigan a little more.
But I was just saying defensively. I mean, like Illinois and Minnesota run a very similar offense.
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
the
especially
first half
Illinois,
of both those games, you shut them down.
Yeah, it's just
Why
gonna
would this be any
It's going to
different?
come down to want to, and really going to compete.
Mhm.
Because the thing that I don't want for these kids to be in the like halftime, be like, you know what, we can actually play with these dudes.
Yeah.
You know, when you kind of go out there and and you're playing
right.
hard, but you're going through the motions and you're taking the punches. Then you make a couple plays.
Yeah.
Then you're like, you know what, we're just as good as you.
You look up at halftime and you're down 3 or up 7.
Right.
Like
Right.
what's
You're
going on
just-
here?
It's like in
you're
that movie
just-
Rocky. He's just a man.
Right.
He's just a man. He plays just like you, Rock.
Yeah, but
Raph likes it.
So it's a tall order. I mean, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, there's a lot more to this game versus the scoreboard. But there's a way that they can win the game. Now that they're just gonna have to do something that they haven't done on a consistent basis for a whole game in 3 weeks. And so sometimes you rise up to the competition, and that brings out the best in you. And that's what I'm expecting, and that's what they should be expecting.
You know
as
what
well.
I'm telling those guys too? Let's say this, man. I grew up watching Michigan all the time. You know, Michigan was always on TV. You know, even before we had 80,000 channels, Michigan. You think about just the pageantry in the legacy, in just the history of that stadium, fellas. You're getting to play in the big house at a prime time game.
Yeah.
And the thing about to my seniors, to some of you, this will be the last time you're playing from about this size again.
Ever. Yeah, no matter where you go.
No matter where you go, even maybe if you still make it to the pros, you're still not playing a stadium that big.
No.
So why not relish this opportunity? This is what you played football when you were 8 years old in the backyard, and when it was a cold, kind of blustery Saturday afternoon. You had your jersey on of your favorite player, the starter. Well, you were too young to remember starter,
I remember
so were
starter.
you. But me and Dave remember starter.
I remember
starters,
starter.
and you'd be out there cold, man, and all your boys like, man, what we playing at today? Man, we meeting at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm telling the kids, man, play like a kid, man.
Yeah.
It's
Let
just
the
a game.
chips fall where they may.
It's just a game.
Yes.
I mean, it really is. And I think a big part of Nebraska,
Wow.
the players are, they've been through a lot, right? They've been through a lot, and they've answered the bell and not quit. But I think they still harbor some of that stuff, whether they think it's their fault or whatever.
Yeah.
They need to let that go, and then you'll see them playing in like warp speed, and just go out there. You have literally
nothing to lose.
True.
Nothing to lose.
They honestly 31 points is disrespectful.
It is.
Any way you look at
It
it, and
is.
you could, I'd say that to the team.
Yeah.
That is disrespect. You are a Power 5 team. You are Nebraska, and you're 31-point underdogs. Come on, man.
Dude, I have
really?
never been a 31-point underdog in my whole career.
That is a lot of points.
That's just flat out
It's disrespectful. It is disrespectful.
Jay, last thing before we take a break and get to the top of the hour and bring in a new list of guys. Okay, so with Miles Farmer out, I mean, that's a guy, he has 62 tackles on the year. How much more important is it that the front 7 of Nebraska's defense gets Blake Corum either stumbling or gets him down before he gets to the third level?
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to, do your job, your assignment, win your one-on-one battles, and then go play football. This isn't. Hey, I'm in the B gap and raise my hand on Monday. I was in my B gap.
I was
all
there.
Day. Yeah, I was. No, it's time for you to do your job and to go make plays. And it's going to take all 11 guys to be able to rally and tackle him. He's a good back. He can make you miss in the short area. He can run with power. He has
really good vision.
Yeah. And he can take it to the house. So everybody from the first level, second, and third have got to be on point. You got to communicate and you got to gang tackle, and that's no different than what they did the last 2 weeks. You got to hit this guy, and you got to hit him hard, and you got to hit him often.
Yeah.
And you got to win at the point of attack. You can't let him have clear vision right where the play is supposed to go. And then the guys that are backside, there's no time for anybody to take a play off. You got plenty of D-line depth. You got linebackers. So when if you need a blow, then somebody needs to come in for 2 plays, and you need to go right back in.
Yeah.
This is a game really to get jacked up for is easy.
Caleb, and you're exactly right, Jay. Caleb and I think O'Shawn have to have a good game today.
Right.
Man. They're going to have to put pressure on the quarterback, and it's going to be, in fact, Big Ty Robinson, he's got to have a big game today too, man.
Well, this is a game to where not only, when they do pass you, they got to get home and get them off a spot. But those guys, including Garrett Nelson, can really have a huge impact in the run game.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, against it, they got to win against tight ends. They got to make sure that they're playing the read option if they do it with J.J. McCarthy and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, J.J. McCarthy, has 100 yards rushing and 300 yards passing, you got to be okay with that because that means he did something he's never been able to do all year.
I would also add that in Frost's first year, a year that had a couple of the guys on the team this season, Chase Winovich came away from that game saying that last time that Nebraska was in the big house, they just didn't want to be there. They could tell that Nebraska did not want to be there.
Was that Mike Riley or was that
Scott Frost's first year?
Yeah.
Chase Winovich talked about
Their
it.
linebacker.
There's still a couple guys on this team that were playing in that game.
I got to get that ACL then.
You got to get that back.
I got to get that ACL. I get I'm not even playing. Crank up the John Deere and get him off the field.
Yep.
All right,
the John Deere for real. I need to get. Okay, we got takeout orders. We just had wings. Yeah. Okay, we got. I want
the lemon pepper still affected Jay a little bit.
Right. You're feeling yourself over
I want takeout orders.
Exactly. All right. Once again, A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show heading on. We got about an hour and a half until kickoff between Huskers and Wolverines. This segment's brought to you by Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, next to Hy-Vee on North 27th Street. I'm going to step out. I think AD's heading out. Nate, you'll probably be back for this next segment. Jay, who knows? We'll bring in a couple other guys. Bach has arrived. We'll see whenever Vershawn and Strick join the stream. Rico's still here. Jake's still here. Raf's still here. So we got a lot of guys here ready to break down Huskers and Wolverines coming up in an hour and a half. Stick with us. 1 o'clock hour. We're about an hour and a half away from kick. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM for 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina is the talk of the Haymarket, and for good reason. Grab a breakfast taco on a game day morning or stop by for lunch or dinner for their huge variety of street taco options. They have everything from carne asada or chorizo taco to shrimp or fish tacos, buffalo chicken, and more. Plus, they have more than 140 different tequilas and tons of other beer or mixed drink options. There's truly something for everyone. Make plans to stop by for any meal of the day at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher, Professional Realtor Group, Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at RenewYourAuto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built upon hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with room for advancement.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's Post-Game Show and the Final Word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's Post-Game Show and the Final Word, live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete.
Bowling, check. Arcade, check. Laser tag, check. Mini golf, check. Sand volleyball, cornhole, bocce, food, drinks, check, 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 check. The newly renovated Sun Valley Lanes and Games has something fun to offer for guests of all ages.
Win prizes in the arcade or challenge your friends in one of the many attractions.
Plan a night of fun by reserving your spot online at sunvalleylanes.com.
Sun Valley.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party Postgame Show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bakoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and Brant Excavating.
Back
Yeah, do this, win! Yes, win and win!
to the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show, presented by Bauer Underground on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. I believe this is segment 4, which is brought to you by Bauer Underground. Bauer Underground is looking for great candidates like you. Work with a talented and dedicated team that supports local contractors and utility companies across Nebraska. Apply today at BauerUnderground.com. I am joined in the studio by two wonderful people, and I want them to introduce themselves because I have to get this set up to bring in a fourth person.
Well, I'm Alexis Sander, joining the show today.
There you go. I'm Jake Bakoven, and I believe we've got another visitor coming up here in a bit, but we're going to try to get him going. We'll just get it started. Alexis, how do you feel about this game? It's a 30-point spread. I've seen you cry in this studio before because of how bad Nebraska was doing. I fear we might see another day of that.
Well, I spent quite a bit of time doing my makeup this morning, so I don't think I'll shed any tears today.
Okay.
I don't predict this to be super well. I mean, Michigan definitely has the advantage over us today.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think we're going to see some players come in that we haven't really seen before for the Huskers, and maybe that can play to our advantage as well. Maybe get us a little bit of a better perspective going in. And the spread scared me this morning. I'm not going to lie. It did. It terrified me. I don't see us winning, but there is a chance we could get close.
Yeah, I think it's a bold prediction for you to predict Nebraska to win this one, but it's college football. You never know what can happen. I've been saying it all week because I'm excited about it. 2:30 time slot on ABC. That feels right for Nebraska, Michigan, a game of this magnitude. The thing that doesn't feel right, it's the 25-year anniversary of 1997. It just feels like Nebraska, as much as we are kind of, and I think we've all kind of looked in on ourselves now and been frustrated, but this is one of those games where the Big Ten probably, when they grabbed Nebraska, was thinking 10 years down the line, 25-year anniversary against Michigan, it's going to be amped up.
This will be the game.
And it's this is the type of scenarios, the type of games that really were cool when you joined the Big Ten, and we'll see. I mean, maybe it's like I said, anything can happen. You can get an upset here. They're gonna have to stop Blake Corum. I think what I'm really intrigued by, a little bit of a bitterness between the head coach and offensive coordinator. Seemingly, at least maybe we can kind of see that through the press talkings, and Mickey says, was pretty clear about it. We're going to run the ball this week. So if they get away from the run, who's making the call?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Well,
another
Mickey-
one of those games.
Yeah, Mickey seemed clear that they wanted to run the ball this week, but Mickey's also mentioned and said so that it is Mark Whipple's offense. He's in charge of the offense. So unless Mickey steps up and steps in and actually forcibly takes some of the play calling and lets Whipple know, like, this is what you're going to be calling, you need to be calling some more run plays. I'm not really sure how much we're going to see of it, but we are joined on the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter by our good friend, Eric Strickland. Stricky, my boy, how are you?
Hey, how's everybody? Can you hear me? Everybody
Yeah,
good? Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, chilly morning in Nebraska. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely chilling up there in Ann Arbor as well. And we're just hoping I'm just hoping not to have tears, I would say also. Let me just say that. I don't want tears. I don't want to have to throw stuff at TVs and stuff like that. Sometimes I get a little hyped up. But watching and looking at the landscape right now, it's not easy going out here. The numbers are high. Indiana and Ohio State, not too bad of a score right now. LSU is getting everything they want from Arkansas. And so we're just hoping to be in that same category where we're giving them a little bit of trouble. And then at the end of the day, anything can happen.
Yeah, as long as you keep it close, you never know what could happen towards the
Yeah.
end. But we've talked about it before. You want to slow this game down. You want to make Michigan play a slower paced game. But at the same time, I hear people saying that, and I agree with it. But at the same time, that's kind of Michigan's style. They want to run the ball. They want to pound the rock. They want to hold on to it. They've held on to the ball the last two games over 35 minutes by themselves. So it's going to be extremely hard for Nebraska to slow the game down and play at a slower tempo and feel really confident doing it when they're used to playing up tempo. And oh, by the way, the team across the way kind of wants to slow it down as well. It's not like they're looking to air it out much. It's not like they're looking to, throw the ball and get big plays. They're going to be sitting there completely okay with 3 yards, completely okay with 4 yards, totally fine with taking the checkdowns, which is what Nebraska needs to do to keep this game in some kind of striking distance towards the end.
Absolutely. And the crazy thing about that right now is you're saying the whole game plan of the Michigan Wolverines, because their best receiver only has 41 receptions for 525 yards. Now, I mean, if that doesn't tell you anything, what they like and they thrive off of is established run, play action, getting guys into space after you done had your eyes all downhill, 8 men in the box, so forth and so on. Luke Schoonmaker is their tight end. He's their second best receiver with 30 receptions. That tells you something. It's a lot of tight end. It's a lot of delays and releases. It's a lot of maybe run pass option with some tight end pops. It's a lot of that type of stuff going on, and that's their game plan. And so you're going to have to be ready for that. And I think if you can get pressure up front, you can make sure that you're in gaps and your gap integrity is solid, and you're forcing them into long down situations. You may have a shot, but if there are no short down situations, they're going to be tough to beat.
So this isn't breaking news or anything. This is just something coming out of Ann Arbor. There are 3 quarterbacks currently warming up on the field for Nebraska: Chubba Purdy, Jarrett Sinek, and Matt Masker. Logan Smothers made the trip, but as of 6 minutes ago, there is no sign of him warming up on the field.
Wow.
Middle reps. Nebraska's going to be in trouble with that.
I don't know what that means. I don't know, should we read into that a lot? But as of 6 minutes ago, there's no Logan Smothers on the field. He's there. He made the trip. There's pictures of him getting off the bus, walking into the stadium, but no sign of him on the field quite yet.
Well,
take that for what you will.
Take that for what you will. I'd like to hear Bach's perspective on that one.
Well, I'm just interested overall. I mean, I've talked about it. I think we kind of get it. We've all gotten kind of excited for this run with the new head coach in charge and see if he can get over the total thing. But the problem is they're not scoring a whole lot of points. I've mentioned this under Mickey's lead now, and whatever way you want to say it. Since Scott Frost was let go, Mickey Joseph took over. 4 out of 6 games they've scored 14 or less points. with this offense against that defense, it's that similar type of feel, whichever quarterback they run out there with, Logan Smothers or Chubba Purdy. So, we talk about all the ways this game can go, and most of it's not good for us. I think that defense is going to have to play absolute lights out football because it's a hard imagining the offense, especially, I don't know about the Logan thing. I'm not too panicked about it at this point.
But why are you not panicked?
Well, part of it is because I don't see the team scoring 21 or 25 points regardless of who starts.
But it's not even about just having him and maybe that switches things up on the offense and gets you to score points. It's the fact that the offensive line has struggled regardless of who's been back there.
Right.
And if Chubba Purdy plays and he gets hurt, you're going to Matt Masker or Jarrett Sinek.
Well,
I'm
being honest with you, neither of the quarterbacks that I've seen have really impressed me enough that I'm that worried about the backup quarterbacks. I mean, we've seen walk-ons before. Of course, Matt Turman's the famous story, and he had quite a surrounding cast around him. But we've seen, if somebody can come in and game manage, not turn the ball over, kind of eat up that clock like they're talking about with running the ball. I think they need that, somebody to quarterback the game a little bit more than they need a flashy playmaker, especially just to break out against Michigan. I don't think they have that in the cards. So
I feel as if off-script plays are going to be really beneficial for Nebraska today because this Michigan defense is a top 10 defense. They're extremely fast. They're very disciplined. They know exactly what they're going to do, where they're going to be. They know where you're going to be before you know where you're going to be. And to go off script and have a quarterback like, I'm not even saying just Logan Smothers, because Chubba Purdy has proved that he can move around a little bit as well. He can pick him up and put him down. If you can have a quarterback like that who isn't afraid to get out of the pocket and maybe make a play with his legs, that's going to be very important. I don't know if Matt Masker can do that. I don't know if Jarrett Sinek can do that. I do know both of them have pretty good arms. They both throw the ball extremely well. If you go back at both of their senior seasons, they were both very, very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Efficient quarterbacks at Kearney Catholic and Hastings, respectively.
Well, Masker, I think, is a little bit thicker, so you're definitely not going to have a lot of run options out of that. I just think you needed somebody just to put an extra hat on somebody where you have a quarterback that takes away the run and kind of makes linebackers hesitate just a little bit, make defensive ends have to kind of think about it. But because if they can just pin their ears back tonight, this afternoon, I just don't know. I don't know if the line is, not unless the line just plays out of their freaking tail. That's the only thing that would save them. I just don't know without having a little bit of something different to give them something to look at. It makes it tough for me. I can't even articulate it very well right now, just how that doesn't help.
I don't know, man. I'm just going through Twitter right now trying to figure out what's going on with Logan Smothers.
Sean Callahan tweeted.
I have, it's not the official warm-up period yet, which is better because Logan, like I said, Logan made the trip, but they're not officially supposed to be warming up. But the other three quarterbacks being out there and tossing the pigskin around, that still kind of has me a little skeptical that Logan Smothers is going to be playing all that much, just because it's not the official warm-up period, sure, but if your other three quarterbacks are out there tossing it around, why isn't your fourth quarterback out there tossing it around?
Might be going back through mental reps or just last-minute preparation. I wouldn't worry about it too much. It is fascinating to see
I'm going to worry about it.
You can go ahead.
Don't tell me how to worry.
I think if both those guys are available, though, that's the storyline, is how much playing time does each one of them get, outside of the victory, if Nebraska can get it, but, that's unexpected, is, the quarterback rotation, how it's dealt with, how Mark Whipple and Mickey Joseph decide to go about this, how much of a leash does whoever gets the first, couple series go, or do they want to do the two quarterback system? Maybe they could be swapping the series right out of the gate to see who's kind of got the better matchup that day. Either way, I think it's trouble again for Nebraska against this number one rush defense from Michigan. It's a heck of a week just to start. Hey, we're gonna prioritize the rush. Well, against the number one rush defense,
this is a great time to prioritize the rush.
It might be more difficult, and then I know he's the unsung hero, but we'll see what happens from the punting game today. Brian Buschini looked like Sam Cook last time he was out there. So
he looked great.
Yeah, and that could be big. Nebraska won the field position game for the majority of that game against Minnesota. They didn't end up winning the game. Obviously, we kind of all know the story there, but if they want any chance at Michigan, it's going to be the same type of thing. Keep it. If you can stop Michigan, obviously 6 3-and-outs in a row is going to hurt your field position battle. But for most of that game leading up to that, they were winning that. And if you can do that, even if you don't get points on the board, it's a bit of a mental edge, and just kind of a back and forth. It's going to be going to be flurries there. I think that it's going to be very cold weather, so maybe
Under 40.
Maybe that can benefit Nebraska too. Get Michigan off, although I think they're a little bit used to playing.
I say that's kind of what they want to do. So that's going to be really interesting. But that's going to be it for the fourth, segment. The fourth segment here on the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show. Strick, I don't know if you're going to stick around. Maybe you can do the next segment. I don't know who's going to be in here. We're kind of going round table. Everybody's flowing in and out. We got some delicious food. Shout out to Jay Foreman for bringing that in. But this segment, again, brought to you by Bauer Underground. They're looking for great candidates like you. Work with a talented and dedicated team that supports local contractors and utility companies across Nebraska. Apply today at BauerUnderground.com. We will be right back right here on the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show. Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina is the talk of the Haymarket, and for good reason. Grab a breakfast taco on a game day morning or stop by for lunch or dinner for their huge variety of street taco options. They have everything from carne asada or chorizo tacos to shrimp or fish tacos, buffalo chicken, and more. Plus, they have more than 140 different tequilas and tons of other beer or mixed drink options. There's truly something for everyone. Make plans to stop by for any meal of the day at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and Brent Excavating.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
M Suits Clothiers, your Lincoln choice for men's clothing 5 years running. Did you know M Suits Clothiers has one of the largest selections of fashion-forward yet sophisticated menswear? Suits, jeans, dress pants, long-sleeve shirts, short-sleeve shirts, and bamboo athletic wear. They are clean and simple styling with options to be worn for work or for play. Visit their store to find your perfect fit. M Suits Clothiers, located at 5525 Red Rock Lane, 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road. And tell your friends about them.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built upon hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with room for advancement.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beers, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewyourauto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
Back
Let's go 3-0 and let's come drink some Gatorade.
to the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show, sponsored by Ben Bleicher with PRG and BHHS Ambassador Real Estate on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Follow me into the jungle.
Welcome back to the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show. We are now just over 1 hour until kickoff. Nebraska versus Michigan. Got a good crew here for this segment, which is brought to you by Ben Bleicher with PRG, BHHS Ambassador Real Estate. Whether you're looking to buy a home or a property to sell, call Ben and his team today, 402-419-6309. That's the number. And we're going to bring him in. We've got Bach, we've got Jay Foreman, and we got Strick, a little remote action over there. Strick, what's going on?
Strick, what's popping? Your mic is, you got to turn his mic on, Jack.
Can you hear me?
How about that? Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. No, man. Kind of cold outside today, and I had a few things. I had a few things to take care of in Omaha today, but other than that, man, it's a great day. I'm just looking. I'm looking around the scoreboards, right? I'm just looking at the Tennessee game. I'm looking at the Purdue game. I'm looking at Missouri just scored again against Tennessee, making that game tight. All I'm saying is this: why not us today? Put us in the category with everything else that's going on in NCAA football right now with some crazy scores to start the day. Obviously, Ohio State finally opened it up there. Arkansas and LSU are in a 10-point game. Purdue and Illinois are battling it out. Just put us in the category. Just let us fit in somewhere with a tight game today where it comes down to a last second drive or something where you just never know what could happen. I'm hoping.
Well, this is what we were talking about, Strick, and you can kind of go off of this as well. Michigan isn't going to run anything that you haven't seen. Like, very similar offense to Illinois and Minnesota. You know they're going to get Corum the rock and make J.J. McCarthy beat you. And you look at the recipe. If that's the recipe for success, Nebraska in the first half against Minnesota and Illinois, for that matter, I mean, you were playing about as well as you could, and you were in that game. Now, obviously, Casey Thompson goes down. That had a big impact on the Minnesota game as well, but you can compete with these teams. There's nothing Michigan's going to show you that you haven't seen before that you can't stop. And I just look at this game, and I keep thinking about this line, and me and Jay were talking about this. 31 is disrespectful. Like, I can't believe that.
I mean,
that is disrespectful.
That's just flat out. They ain't. That's just no respect. Just, you guys are garbage.
Right.
I mean, that's right. And that's not even where Nebraska's at.
No.
And I'm sure a little bit of Casey being out, obviously, ties into that and the way the offense has looked the last 2 weeks, especially in the second half. But I think a lot of these guys need, this is where you really find out who really loves it and who's a true competitor. And then also at the quarterback position, I mean, again, depending on how Whipple's going to handle it, but if they are going to play 50-50 or split some series, you just lay it out there. Look, this is a tough challenge. Nobody has an advantage here. It's going to be the same offensive line, the same skill guys. Go out there and prove it.
And in my mind, too, I mean, this has been a big play offense all year long. I don't imagine with the quarterbacks they have today that all of a sudden they're going to figure out how to do sustainable drives. And they can't, they're not, they're pretty inept at throwing deep. So in my mind, you get Trey Palmer the ball any way you can. You get Anthony Grant the ball any way you can. I don't think Anthony Grant's as much as a, kind of a big play threat. But Trey Palmer certainly is. Michigan's got a lot of athletes out there, but Trey might be among the fastest wide receivers that they've gone up against. So make him pay for that. I still don't think he's had a carry since that end around that went 60 yards. Get him the ball. And I know part of it's on him. And Jay, and I heard you saying this before. You finished with 1 yard. It's partially on you. He had a lot of targets a few weeks ago. But if I'm Nebraska to have any chance, you got to get him the ball. Yeah,
you got to get him the ball.
They got to catch the ball.
He's got to catch the ball too.
That's all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't talk about what they got to do. They got to do this. This is a game that you want to make this thing real boring. Okay, if it's 3rd and 5, it's 3rd and 5, run a 7-yard comeback, and you run it up to 7, you come back, you catch it, first down, and then the play's coming in. Okay, you got to take an extra 5 seconds in the huddle.
Yeah,
everybody know the play, everybody knows the snap count. Kind of just mosey on out there, because what Michigan wants you to do is hurry up, mess up, get the ball back, and jam it right down
and pound it down your throat.
Right, and so it's no different than Strick knows this. And when you played, maybe in college or like growing up, in high school, or maybe sometimes in the pros, you see teams try to play Golden State Warriors, Golden State basketball. You see people try to play up tempo when you need to slow it down. Don't play into their hands. Just go out there and try to execute your game plan the best possible, and extend this game longer, because you can tell if you have your quarterback, your star running back who's probably up for the Heisman, your head coach, and all the other players not talking about you. That lets you know if this game goes longer, they're not truly prepared for this game. So as this game goes longer, then you'll start to see anxiety on their sideline, mistakes, and pressure, because I guarantee you they have been looking at Ohio State tape or even Illinois tape and looking past Nebraska.
Absolutely.
Felt like that this week.
Absolutely.
They're treating this like coaches treat the spring game. We're just gonna go out here and be real basic. We can just line up and as long as we just put our uniforms on, we're going to blow these guys out.
And that amazes me too, because they went, I know it was just, last year that they went to the playoffs, but it was a couple years ago where they had an under 500 team. Now they're at the point they're overlooking teams. They had a quarterback competition through the first 3 games of the season. They do not seem to respect their opponents. And so far it's worked out for them, but I got to imagine that's got to catch up to them. Maybe the Huskers can be the one to do it today.
I mean, one of the things I would be trying to do also, if I was the offensive coordinator in Whipple, I would be looking to have some max protection opportunities, because to Michigan's saying the same thing. They're basically, after watching tape and watching how things went with Illinois and drop balls and stuff like that, they probably feel they can match up with them. They probably feel that Trey has kind of fell off, after having all the talk about Heisman stuff. They probably feel a lot of that way. So I look at some max protects, put somebody to run across the face of the safety, just to kind of just give him a little pause and think with a crossing route in his face with some max protection. If they're going to blitz, try to beat him out, beat him deep. That's what I would be looking to do.
Well, let me ask you guys this, because I know Michigan's a highly ranked team. They went to the playoff last year, but I always just go back to Michigan's schedule. Outside of Penn State, you haven't played a ranked opponent. And the best offense you played in Maryland, you only beat them 35-27. Like, we know Michigan can run the ball. We know they have a solid defense. But when we're talking about these teams that are going to be a 31-point favorite against Nebraska and teams that are expected to blow out Nebraska. I just don't see Michigan as that team. I really don't.
And Maryland's not a defensive stalwart.
No.
I think Maryland's done a good job at their second and so at the third level of their defenses. And Mike Loxley has said the defensive line is behind as far as being Big Ten ready.
Right.
And I think, that was when Maryland's quarterback was just coming back from injury and wasn't sure if he was going to play or not. And
and then you played Iowa, Indiana, Michigan State, Rutgers.
And Iowa ran the ball on.
They did.
And then so I would ask the guys, do you think our defense is better than Maryland? I'd ask them. And then I would put the pressure back on the offense to score some points. Because I would, if I'm Bill Bush, I said, I know my dudes are going to come with it. What you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to come up and show the winners. So that's what we've done last 2 weeks. We're going to do it again. We're going to give you a chance to win it. What you going to do? You going to get in your own way, or you going to get out of the way and let us win this game? Period. And then, go out there and just let it all hang out. You don't have nothing to lose, man. You ain't good. I mean, it's not like this game is like a pick 'em or, just a toss-up game and everything's on the line and we got to win this game to go to the Big Ten championship or win the West. Nobody in America is picking you to win.
No one. Literally no one.
And if they are, they lying to you. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
The only people that need to believe that we can win is the people in the locker room and go out there and do it. And you can't. Now, is it going to be easy? No. Is it a tall order? Yes. We're going to have to do something that we haven't done the last 3 weeks, and that's play a complete game. Not a perfect game, a complete game. We can't play a really good quarter, take 2 quarters off, play a good 4th quarter.
Right.
We got to play decent to great football, or our best football for 4 quarters. And that's the way it takes that's almost in every game in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And we saw that the first game of the season. We've seen it obviously against Georgia Southern. You can't have a day off where you just kind of sleepwalk in any of the 3 phases. And I know we're only talking about offense and defense. Don't be surprised if Michigan tries to do some sort of trick play and taking advantage of Nebraska on special teams. But again, they are also vulnerable on special teams. Okay, giving up a couple block kicks and block punts, and you can get some returns on them. So we have got to be able to make some hay that way. In order to upset a team like this, you got to do something that you haven't done all year. Maybe have a big return or two in kickoff return and punt return. Maybe try, a trick play ourselves. What do you got to lose? You know what I'm saying, Strick? What do they got to lose if we decide that we're going to go fake punt?
I mean, listen, I think one, you've got to if you're Mickey Joseph, who's trying to live for the next day, if possibly coaching, if you're this team and you want to get into the national conversation again, if you want to get in the recruiting battles again, what better way than to go on the road and beat a college football playoff team in their home and break their hearts? Because if they do that, to be honest, it doesn't matter. In the Rock Johnson voice, it doesn't matter at that point what happens between Ohio State.
I agree. Yeah.
Listen, Ohio State and Michigan and the Big Ten would be in trouble if Ohio State would lose to Michigan, because Michigan would have no chance of getting back in. The Big Ten could then at that point have both teams out. So that's a scary thing. But at the same time, why not be that guy where everybody's talking about? Today would be the day. If you upset them, they're not going to be talking about Purdue, Illinois. If Purdue upsets them, they're not going to be. Yeah, they might be talking a little bit about Tennessee if they lose, but they're not right now. But at the same time, you could be that guy, that team that everybody's talking about on the shows next week. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity, but I'm really interested to see how these kids react.
Yeah.
This ain't a talking game. This is I don't want to hear. We've heard the talking. Whether it's been solicited or not, we've heard the talking. I ain't seen enough. I got to see it. I don't want to hear you talking no more. You know what I mean? I don't need to see that. I don't need to see. There shouldn't need to be any. It's like what Strick. We talked about Dion yesterday. Dion tells his kids, put the phones down. It's time to lock in. 2 hours before the game, it's time to lock in. This ain't time to be out here,
on Instagram, taking pictures,
taking pictures
in the big house.
In the big house. Yeah.
Flavor Flav.
Hey, this ain't the time. This is time to lock in. That's it. I mean, you have to give yourself the best chance at success with no guarantee that you're going to win. But if you don't, there's a guarantee you're not going to win. And that's the hard thing for kids to do. And it can be hard around here in Nebraska because you spent all year talking about you're the best 3-9 team in NCAA history, but you're still a 6-game loser. You're still 6 games below. You're a loser. Period. You're just a loser. And that's not that. And that's not a personal attack. At the end of the day, you're 3-9. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I've been on a team that was 3-13 in the league. There was games that we upset the Jets once. Yeah, we did it one time. But we went in there and played. But But at the end of the day, did we have some young talent? Sure. But we still were 3-13. There was things that we were doing that made us straight up garbage. So now what Nebraska needs to do is do everything that they have been doing in a positive and do it more. Don't come into halftime and just, if we're up 14-10 and think the game's over. Come into halftime and say, look, we need to recharge and let's blow these dudes out the water because they're going to bring it, and let's bring it even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so they do that, everything will be fine. And it's going to be a competitive game. It's going to be a physical game. Whether it's raining or cold up there, it's going to be Michigan ain't changing. Michigan ain't changing their playbook.
No, they don't need to.
Yeah, so they're coming.
Yeah. And I wonder too, I think the spread is big, kind of like Rutgers last week, not because they just expect Michigan to, win this game from the get-go with a dominant. I think they expect, and I would say this to the kids, they expect you to fold. They expect as soon as you're down 10 or 14, they think that you're folding and Michigan will run right over you. And the reason why they think that, by the way, is because Minnesota in Illinois ran over you in the fourth quarter. So here we are again. And I don't know what the score is going to be going into that fourth quarter. One way or the other. That would be one of my goals for the week for telling those guys too. Is this is the Big Ten. Well, I understand you're getting tired. It's later in the season, but that's the recipe for these teams use to beat you week in, week out. We can't have it happen to us 3 straight weeks. If you lose the game one way or the other, so be it. But at least put your best foot forward and don't be the team that, like I said with Scott Frost for a long time, the recipe's out. Just hang around with Nebraska, let them beat themselves because they'll do it. I don't want the recipe to be out on this Nebraska team that, hey, by the time the fourth quarter goes, hand the ball off, you'll get chunk yardage, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit of it, but if you ain't moving the ball on offense, that's gonna happen. Yeah. I mean, you're playing against good to great players, and so that's the thing. That's why it's a team game. All 3 facets have got to be, pulling for that. You got to ham and egg it sometimes. If the offense isn't, if they're struggling, then the defense has to step up. If we're down 10-0 and we don't have our rhythm yet on defense, that doesn't mean that we come out and run 3 plays and it's only been 36 seconds off the clock. Yeah. We have got to play complementary football. And that's what really hurts us. And then everybody likes to focus on the end result, but what the cause is, the complementary football is not meshing. And so we need to mesh today. We do that, you'll see a better product.
We certainly need to see a better product too. That is for sure, especially if they want to go out and defeat Michigan, which would be awesome to say the least. We got to take a quick break again. This segment was brought to you by Ben Blank with PRG, BHHS Ambassador Real Estate. Whether you're looking to buy a home or property to sell, call Ben and his team today, 402-419-6309. Again, Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, myself, Nate Brennan, and Jake Bachman all hopping in here. We're going to get a new lineup in here, keep this pregame rolling because, again, we are now under an hour away from kickoff, so make sure you stick with us. A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show right here, 93.7 The Ticket.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
M Suits Clothiers, your Lincoln choice for men's clothing 5 years running. Did you know M Suits Clothiers has one of the largest selections of fashion-forward yet sophisticated menswear? Suits, jeans, dress pants, long-sleeve shirts, short-sleeve shirts, and bamboo athletic wear. They are clean and simple styling with options to be worn for work or for play. Visit their store to find your perfect fit. M Suits Clothiers, located at 5525 Red Rock Lane, 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road. And tell your friends about them. Look at your car. It's filthy and probably has a few dings and nicks all over it. Don't be that guy. Get it upgraded and repaired at Renew Your Auto. At Renew Your Auto, they offer tons of services: ceramic coating, window tinting, paintless dent repair, washes and details, bed liners, body shop, and more. Where can you go to get services like that all in one place? Schedule your appointment today at renewyourauto.com. See what Renew can do for you.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism. Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and Brant Excavating.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me, yelling at the TV during Vikings games. Trek CBD has a variety of products that help calm me down during the games, so I don't scare my dog. But in the rare cases that I yell too much, there's CBD products for him, too, and all other pets. Whether you're looking for drinkable Delta 8 seltzers, hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups for your beverages, or anything else, Trek CBD has it all at 84th and Anderman. Trek CBD done right.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete.
Bowling.
Check.
Arcade.
Check.
Laser tag.
Check.
Mini golf.
Check.
Sand volleyball. Cornhole. Bocce. Food. Drinks.
Check, 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 check.
The newly renovated Sun Valley Lanes and Games has something fun to offer for guests of all ages.
Win prizes in the arcade or challenge your friends in one of the many attractions.
Plan a night of fun by reserving your spot online at sunvalleylanes.com.
Sun Valley.
Back
1, 2, 3, dominate!
to the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show, brought to you by Ritchie Brothers on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show right here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. This segment brought to you by Ritchie Brothers. Buy or sell your equipment today at rbauction.com.
automotive.com. We are here in the studio, not outside in the cold, in cold, kind of snowy Lincoln, Nebraska, but up in Ann Arbor, not kind of snowy. It's kind of coming down a little bit out there.
Yeah.
It's they've got some flurries out there, and Ann Arbor going to make conditions a little colder, a little wetter. It's going to be really interesting to see exactly what's going on up there. But welcome into the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by Ritchie Brothers. You guys can call and text and give us your thoughts about how this game is going to go. You guys can give us your score predictions. 402-464-5685 Honda of Lincoln Hotline. Sartor Heyman text line. Words are hard, and you shouldn't speak very fast if you don't know what you're saying.
No, you know what you're saying.
We're good. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Logan Smothers is there. Logan Smothers is warming up. I know that the last time I was on, I was freaking out about it, rightfully so, because I think that Logan Smothers should get a bulk of the snaps just to switch things up from what hasn't been working the last two games. But Bach, if you will, give us a little bit of news coming out of that quarterback stuff.
Yeah, as far as warming up goes, Chubba Purdy is taking snaps from the number 1 center, Trent Hickson, while Logan is working with the number 2 center. So usually when they do that, obviously that means you kind of know who your starter is. Maybe it's not. I mean, again, we're really into looking at these quarterbacks pregame right now to try to figure out who's going to get the start. But I would bet it'd be Chubba Purdy. I don't think Husker Nation is going to like that very much. I think everybody's kind of, went with Logan at this point, but if they felt like Chubba had a better week of practice and, that's the guy they believe in a little bit more, they think he's a better passer. I mean, for what it's worth, he had the touchdown drive last week. I know he had more drives than Logan, but he did have a touchdown drive last week. So we'll see. I mean, and again, it's hard to me imagine. I don't know what the injury was that kind of limited him in practice 2 weeks ago, but it's hard to imagine that he's actually, like, his in-game throwing,
like he's actually healthy,
looks rough. It looks worse than he did in the spring game. I don't know if he
looked good in the spring game.
He looked good in the spring game, so I don't think he's gotten worse over that time. I think maybe the injury has to do with some part of it. So keep that in mind as you're pretty upset with him. I'm not. I mean,
like, that's the thing is, and Whipple talked about it this week about not playing a hurt quarterback.
Yeah.
But you played Chubba 2 weeks ago when he didn't practice because he was injured, and it might not be an injury to his throwing arm or to his upper body at all that's affecting his throws. Maybe that's just how he throws, and we were blinded by the newness of him in the spring game, and we didn't see it. But I don't know, man. There's no way that there isn't something going on with him, because he looks like he's shot putting the ball. He doesn't look like he's throwing it.
Well, and again, we talk about the difference between hurt and injured. I mean, a lot of guys are hurt right now. He's probably in the hurt category rather than injured. And eventually you gotta see what these guys are worth. And I think it feels, and I kind of thought this, that it might be a bit of disservice, because people, if you start Purdy, because I was worrying that people will kind of take out their anger with Whipple and just associate Purdy with it. I think he's got a bit of a future. I just don't think the time is now. You're forced into it. That 30-point spread, and just the feeling of a Hail Mary, basically, to beat this Michigan team today, that wouldn't be there if Casey Thompson was there. Now, I'm not saying Nebraska would be favored. They'd probably still be double-digit underdogs, but you'd feel like you had a puncher's chance. Without Casey, the way this offense has been going with those quarterbacks, I mean, a lot of people will probably point back to that Iowa game, and that's where people want Logan, is because they've seen it. They've seen him be able to run a game plan, albeit unsustainable throughout a season, but a spot game plan against one of the nation's best defenses in Iowa last year. Didn't force him to pass the ball too much. Kind of played comfortably within that offense. That's what people envision when they think Logan Smothers. Now, can he do that same thing in this offense? We'll see. He had a little bit, guys dropped the ball last week on him. I mean, his first possession there
on both
Oliver Martin and Trey Palmer there at the end of the game. He could have, and you also kind of think with him being the running quarterback of the two, not the passing quarterback. I kind of thought with that final play where our third down, when he could have picked up the first down, if maybe that's somewhere in the back of his head. He's trying to prove that he can be the passer.
Yeah, we talked to Jay about that, where you finally get into a game and you're trying to prove that you can pass the ball. You're trying to prove that you are a quarterback and not just an athlete out there who happens to play the quarterback position that might have been in the back of his head. You're too quiet over there. Come on, you gotta jump in. You just gotta hop in. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to jump in.
See, I'm kind of a Chuba fan, but I don't think his performance has been exactly what I've been hoping for the last couple of weeks. Glad to hear that Logan Smothers is going to be back. And yes, we do have the backups that we're warming up, whatever. Shout out Matt Masker, buddy. Better do good. Sorry, I had to put that one in there. But no, honestly, it's just been a wild ride with Husker Nation. Everything is so unpredictable, but we have seen that energy from Logan. I mean, we really did, and I hope that he can bring some of that today. And I'm hoping for a win, but I'm not going to get my hopes too high.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And everybody, as you really should be, is focused on the offensive side of the ball for Nebraska. Nobody's really talking about the defensive side, where since Bill Busch took over, they've had some pretty nice performances in, keeping some of the better Big Ten running backs under wraps for at least a half of a game. So you kind of look at this, and you've seen Michigan before in their previous two matchups, or, a couple matchups this year, actually, against, I believe it was Indiana, against Rutgers, and against Penn State. Not the greatest of first halves. It's not like they were out there, showing why they're a top 4 team in the nation in the first half, especially against Rutgers, who, if they didn't switch up their second half game plan, might have made it a lot more of a game. So Nebraska's got to start fast, keep their foot on the pedal, and not give up. Don't be surprised if you're up at halftime. Well, I'm not saying fans don't be surprised, Nebraska's. I'm saying if you are up at halftime as Nebraska, don't be surprised and come out of the locker room thinking, wow, we did it. We were up against Michigan at halftime. Don't do that. Everybody else has done that, and Michigan comes out and rolls them in the second half. Mm-hmm. You have to keep fighting and believe, look, you're a Division I athlete as well. You are just as good as any of those guys on the other sideline. Keep telling yourself that, and go out there and play the game of football. Keep it simple and just go out there and play the game. You can't overanalyze things. Don't try to outthink yourself, as we've said many times with the previous coaching staff, and even sometimes with this staff in the limited time that they've had, where, they try to outthink themselves and, let's go for a deep pass on first down because they're thinking we're going to run, or throw a short pass. Don't do that. Just keep it simple. Hold on to the ball, make smart decisions, and maybe, just maybe, you can come out of Ann Arbor with a win. Although they do have Flavor Flav on the sideline, so that kind of gives them like another 3 points.
At least maybe that time of possession, he's got that clock right.
Yeah, that's like another 3 points right there for him. Flavor Flav on the sideline. But hey, so that's going to do it for this segment. We got one more segment coming up. I don't know who's in the building. It might be us three again for the final segment. But again, this segment brought to you by Ritchie Brothers. Buy or sell your equipment today at rbauction.com. When we come back, the final segment of the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show. Why are words so hard today? A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show. And then head out to Ann Arbor. Watch yourself a possible Huskers W.
Upset.
Who knows?
Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina is the talk of the Haymarket, and for good reason. Grab a breakfast taco on a game day morning or stop by for lunch or dinner for their huge variety of street taco options. They have everything from carne asada or chorizo tacos to shrimp or fish tacos, buffalo chicken, and more. Plus, they have more than 140 different tequilas and tons of other beer or mixed drink options. There's truly something for everyone. Make plans to stop by for any meal of the day at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's Post-Game Show and the Final Word, live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis, and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's Post-Game Show and the Final Word, live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built upon hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with room for advancement.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Nebraska fans, Brokers Insurance Agency in Lincoln is a proud donor of Nebraska Athletics. Brokers Insurance Agency is located at 33rd and A Streets in the heart of Lincoln. At Brokers, they can help you with all your insurance needs. Let them worry about your insurance so you have more time to enjoy the college football season. Call one of their licensed agents today at 402-420-5353 or visit their website at brokersinsurancene.com. Go Big Red.
Are you tired of lousy internet and faceless customer service? It's time to experience local, honest, hassle-free, and exceptional. That's the Allo Promise. We not only provide crazy fast fiber internet, crystal clear TV, and dependable phone service, but we choose to become a part of the communities that we serve and love when everyone calls or stops by our store to say hello. So don't settle for mediocre, settle for exceptional with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/local.
Hey, who caught that ball? That field goal was good, right? Is the scoreboard fuzzy to anyone else?
Dude, you have got to get your eyes checked, man.
If you're noticing that the game is getting a little tougher to follow, it might be time for a checkup at Premier Vision. They have state-of-the-art equipment, a variety of frames, and great lens options. Visit Premier Vision today, just south of Van Dorn at 84th and Firethorn.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. Back.
We hit him in the mouth. We're showing the best team in the world.
To the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show. Sponsored by Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I just remembered something. Welcome back to the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate Pregame Show. Sponsored by Tipsy Tina's, where we would be if this was a home game.
One more left,
delicious breakfast tacos. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be. I hope it's 11 because, it's going to be cold regardless, but I just want to do it and not have to stand out in the cold forever at, what would it be, like noon again? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Just let me go out there at like 8. Get it done with.
You're strange. I'd rather have it maybe warm up a little.
It's not going to warm up regardless. It's going to be cold regardless. It doesn't matter. But I just so we're sitting here in the break. I'm scrolling through Twitter looking for news, and either everyone's warming up or the game's not happening because nobody's posting anything about warm ups. There's no pictures. There's no videos. There's nothing happening. I don't know what's happening. Flavor Flav is on the sideline. I got that.
I know that. Yeah.
But nothing else. No updates about anybody else. And then I see a video of Phelan Sanford wrangling a calf. And I was reminded that Nebraska is without Miles Farmer today.
Yeah.
So that's a thing that I completely forgot about. Nebraska's starting free safety. I'm going to call him free safety. Not starting today. So Phelan Sanford, the walk-on, crazy athlete, will be, I believe, starting in his spot in the defensive backfield. And depending on what Nebraska does, if they decide to go, 9 men in the box and just man up on the sideline, I think they did that before, and they had Marquise Buford back deep. So we'll see exactly what happens. But yeah, Miles Farmer not going today, suspended for a game. Phelan Sanford more than likely getting the start back there. Does that put a damper on your defensive thoughts for Nebraska going against this Michigan offense?
Well, it's not ideal. I don't know. I mean, I think, Phelan Sanford, Deshaun Singleton, another guy you could see out there.
Probably those guys.
I think
battling
Jaden
for that
Gold,
spot.
the freshman, the highly rated freshman, I think they moved him from corner to safety, so he might.
He is listed this week in the depth chart at safety. So, I mean, you can see those guys out there. The other one, Noah Pola Gates, might hit the field. So, I mean, I don't,
my guy.
I don't think it's a huge deal. Again, it's not ideal. Farmer's coming off his 14 tackle game, so you feel like he's just kind of getting, really feeling like he's getting into it. But at the same time, this isn't, you're not facing Purdue. This isn't, the secondary is not going to be as tested as much. Hopefully they will be, though. I mean, like we said, hopefully the Nebraska is able to kind of pack the box and make sure that Michigan doesn't get the run game going. They average 250 yards a game on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they don't make. And there's no bones about it. We know what they're going to try to do. If you can get them off time, off balance, and make J.J. McCarthy go out there and beat you, that's your best chance today. And it's easier said than done. That's basically everybody's game plan going into the game against Michigan.
Stop the run, make them pass.
Yet, yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that. Finally got some news on what's happening down there on the field up in Ann Arbor. This one comes from Luke Mullen. Running back Jaquez Yant did not make the trip to Michigan. Nebraska's 4 running backs for this game: Anthony Grant, Gabe Irvin Jr., Ramir Johnson, and Cooper Jewett.
So Gabe Irvin's back, though.
Gabe Irvin is back from the turf toe.
Yeah,
maybe. He could be hurt, not injured.
Yeah. Or, limited. We'll see.
I think he was available for the last game, but he didn't play. Ramir, as we know, got all the backup running back snaps.
All the carries everybody was mad about.
Yeah. He was the one that was getting stuffed at the line, and I was like, well, that's not what he does. So
yeah. Yeah, they'll have to see. I mean, if they can mix Ramir in, I mean, the only real chance Nebraska has in this game, given the quarterback problems, is if Anthony Grant has a career game. And of course, with that, you're going to need a lot out of the line in front of him. But, we're going up against Blake Corum. If Anthony Grant can kind of keep pace with them, I know, again, they're not going head to head, but as far as what the run game gives you, still there, Michigan's got the advantage because of everything else. But that's Nebraska's chance. And Anthony Grant, a guy that they leaned on heavily earlier in the season. I know they haven't been giving him as many carries. They gave him a little bit more, though, last week. We need to see that moved up today. I mean, I think nobody's really going to be happy, especially what we were told all week, if he gets under than 25 carries, I think.
I think even 25 is still low. I mean, regardless of if it's working or not, you got to load him up with carries and just see, because there's always the chance that he breaks one tackle and breaks a big one. He doesn't have that getaway speed that you maybe would want in your running back once he hits the open field, but he's got enough moves in small spaces and enough power and enough speed to get you some big runs here and there. And that's exactly what you're hoping for, because even though Mickey said you got to be okay with the 3-yard runs and holding on to the ball would be paramount against this Michigan team, you're going to have to rely on some explosive plays from your receiving core, from your running backs to stay in this game. Because as we said before, Michigan is used to holding on to the ball. They're used to getting 3 yards and being totally okay with it. Nebraska is not. So when they do that, it's going to be a little bit of a change, and you're going to see maybe some uncomfortability from the offense. But hopefully they've been working on it and they can get past that. But if they can still get a couple explosive plays, I'm not talking 70-yard touchdowns or 60-yard bombs. I'm talking, 20-yard passes, 20-yard runs, 15-yard runs, something here or there every once in a while that they get you a big first down and gets the probably large Husker contingent in the big house loud and rocking is exactly what you're going to be looking for from this offense, because that's what they've relied on all season, is the explosive plays.
Well, and hopefully Nebraska this year doesn't have to go up against the Zebras either, because, I mean, you kind of expect it when you go into the big house.
Disconcerting signals.
But last year you had disconcerting signals, joint possession, the punch out at the end.
What was the joint possession?
It was very strange. I mean, they just basically, they both have it, Michigan's ball, which doesn't make any sense for joint possession. But I'm not usually a guy that complains too much about that, but sometimes you start to look at it when they've got a lot of money to be made with Michigan, Illinois, and Michigan, Ohio State in the coming weeks. If this game gets close, maybe you look into that. But I mean, that's ideal. It's almost ideal that the referees screw you out of the game, because that would mean you're in the game to begin with, and that's a scary thing. I mean, and it's frustrating. I think for a Nebraska fan base, this game, when Nebraska plays Michigan, it's just supposed to mean more. And again, the Brands did enough to get a very valuable ABC time window at 2:30. It's still
The brands kind of do that on their own, and Michigan obviously helped there. But Nebraska's just got to really look at their pride here. I think that's going to be part of it. And there's a chance that they're down and this game's out of reach. But even at that point, stay fighting. Try to get this game as close as you can. And everybody says they don't have anything to lose. But remember, they're not making a bowl if they don't win out. And I know as little as that sounds like a possibility from the outside, inside that locker room, that better be somewhat front of mind, because you have to have the belief that was your goal, and that's what you need to get done. And until that's not a possibility, I would continue to be, pointing to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Nebraska has definitely gone through a lot this season. I mean, we've seen a lot of coaching changes. We've seen some player changes. We've just seen a whole different dynamic come into play, but that could be part of the advantage. And I think that they do need to keep fighting. And as we were talking about earlier, that short game can definitely come to the advantage of Nebraska during this matchup against Michigan, because I don't think we can get too many explosive plays, not with the defense that they're going up against. Those little 3-yard gains, yeah, those might take 15 seconds, but sometimes those can maybe get you down to the end zone, get you that touchdown. So
yeah, it adds up. Again, I mean, and that's it's hard. The reason why it's such a big spread is it's hard to put yourself in Mickey Joseph's shoes and mastermind a way to keep this game close, right? Because it is, while that is something they're going to do to take care of the time of possession, which Michigan, by the way, number 3 in the nation coming in, and in that category. With Casey at full strength, they've had a hard time with sustainable drives.
Yeah.
To expect to do that with the backups is going to be, even taller of a task. But without Casey, you don't feel like the big play offense is there to bail you out.
Yeah, without Casey, it's a lot of reliance on your playmakers to make plays, because as you saw in the game against Minnesota, the first 6 passes for Chubba Purdy, none of them went past the line of scrimmage. Everything was back behind, and it's get your guys the ball and let them do something with it. So that's going to be a big reliance on your playmakers to get out in space and make a play. Also, another update, this time on the defensive side of the ball. We were just talking about safeties, right? Phelan Sanford, Deshaun Singleton, neither one of them. Isaac Gifford, warming up at safety next to Marquise Buford. He played safety. He came to Nebraska as a safety coming from Lincoln Southeast. So Isaac Gifford going from nickel, your starting nickel, who he's been doing a really good job this year.
Yeah, he's a solid player.
One of the better players on that defense. Well, one of the more consistent players on that defense. Moving to safety, that opens up who is going to be nickel, because Chris Klarovich, they moved him to, unless they move him back to nickel, because they had Ernest Hausman at middle linebacker starting next to Luke Rhyme. Now there's so many moving pieces on the defense. I have no idea where anybody is anymore. So I'm just going to say Chris Klarovich is going to be in middle linebacker with Luke Reimer, and then Javen Wright at nickel.
Maybe Omar Brown's listed ahead of him in the depth chart. We saw Javen Wright come in for one play, get a tackle for loss. So all right, that's enough. Get him out.
Good job, leave.
So I thought that was kind of strange. I want to see maybe him get a few more snaps here, but I don't hate it. I kind of like that move. I mean, I trust in Phelan Sanford and Deshaun Singleton, but if you're thinking about getting your best 11 out there, I think you probably would point to Isaac Gifford as one of those
One of the better tacklers as well.
And then this is a game, a Michigan team, you might not run as many defensive sets that is going to need the nickel. So who starts at nickel may be less important, because you might just run 3 linebackers.
I think they stay pretty base. Just load the box, try to stop the run, force JJ, again, as you said, easier said than done. Load the box, maybe have Marquise Buford stay back, kind of playing a center field for the defensive backfield, and get get Isaac Gifford up closer to the line of scrimmage, and just get a bunch of bodies up there to try and contain Blake Corum.
Yeah. And then just mentioning Marquise Buford reminds me of that first game. It feels like it's been that long since Nebraska punched a ball out, and they have not been good at that for the last several years.
It went out of bounds. I forced one, but it bounced out of bounds.
I was gonna say, I'm sure it's happened here and there, but it's just not a mainstay of this defense. And they, don't get enough interceptions, and probably aren't going to get too many opportunities in that way. I think it's almost assuredly, given how this matchup is somewhat of a mismatch walking in, Nebraska can't lose the turnover battle and win this game. They're going to need to win the turnover battle in my mind and win this game. I think they can play their best game and then maybe get the ball to bounce their way a few times to get this thing done. Not that Michigan is too overwhelming. Remember, Rutgers had a 17-14 lead on them at halftime, so it's not like they're just going to play 60 minutes of football and it's 95 Huskers against the Florida out there or anything. But it's going to be an uphill battle. So you need the ball to bounce your way a few times. I kind of like what they did there with the defense. I to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to see kind of how that looks. Because as mentioned in Anthony Grant, we all just kind of figure Michigan against this defense is probably going to get 35 points or something like that. Probably more considering the spread. A lot of people figure, but in my mind, that's the way this game is close. If somehow this defense can come out, limit Michigan to, I think they need to do under 24 points at most.
That's not happening.
And it's really difficult. But I think that's your path to victory. So the defense really needs to be, like I said, creating turnovers. Maybe it's not a complete shutdown, but since Bill Busch has taken over this defense, that has gotten significantly better. Maybe we see it take another step today.
I think every time that you hold Michigan without a touchdown on a drive, whether they end up turning the ball over or punting or getting a field goal, that's a win in my book. Yeah. Even if Michigan end up with like 6 field goals, I consider that a defensive win on each one of those drives. If you can keep them out of the end zone, that gives your offense a chance to keep this game close. But, we've been focusing so much on the offense. The defense is going to face an uphill battle going against one of the better rushers in the nation in Blake Corum. And although they don't have the greatest numbers, their receiving core isn't anything to laugh about. They had their tight end is, their second and best receiver, I think is what Strick told us earlier. He's a pretty good athlete unto himself, and they have one of their best wide receivers back who didn't play in last year's game because he got injured in the first game of the season. So you're going to have to deal with that. And there's a reason that J.J. McCarthy is the starting quarterback. Nebraska faced Cade McNamara last year. They're facing a more athletic, more mobile quarterback in J.J. McCarthy this year. And if there's anything to be told about Nebraska's defenses from the past, and I understand this is a completely different defense, they struggle with running quarterbacks. So not only do you have one of the better running backs in the nation, but you've also got a quarterback who's not going to be afraid to pull it down and run.
Donovan Edwards isn't bad either, the backup running back. Yeah, so you don't get a break if Blake Corum leaves the game. It's difficult. I mean, but it's kind of one of those measuring stick games, and I think that to a degree, maybe it feels like you have again with the spread. It's so hard to say anything positive. Maybe a slimmer, more of a hope than usually when you go up against those measuring stick games against Ohio State in the past. Obviously, if Casey was in, I think you would feel that way. But you have to remind yourself, this is the Big Ten champs. This is the college football playoff team from last year, and they haven't lost a game since. So until proven otherwise, this is the measuring stick game. This is the best of the best in the Big Ten. And whether it is or not, and they play Ohio State, it's clearly one of the 2 best teams in the Big Ten. So again, just your pride's got to be on the line. If it starts to get out of hand, make it a game that we forget and not remember. I mean, in a weird way to say it, because if you're down 24, lose by 20, lose by 17, lose by 14, don't lose by 42. We'll remember that.
Just keep it in that weird, they didn't cover the spread, but it was still, the score isn't as the game wasn't as close as the score indicates. One of those games where it's just like, Michigan dominated, but Nebraska kind of came back and did a couple of things. But yeah, that's a game that you forget. And that's kind of, if you don't end up winning this game, which a lot of people are kind of writing Nebraska out of it. And, it might be one of those people included. Yeah, you just want to keep it close. Hopefully the athletes and the coaches aren't thinking this way. I'd like to think they're not. They're all competitors, but just keep this game close.
And I'd like to remind people too, I know this football season maybe has been trying, and it's not the best football team that we've had. It's hard to say over the last 5 years, but at Nebraska, we've seen much better football teams. Guys, there's only a few more football games left. We got to embrace these things, and it's Nebraska, Michigan, which again, just those helmets colliding
You're a
out
big
there.
helmet guy.
I'm a big helmet guy. These are 2 of the top. I think there's 8 blue blood programs across the nation. I think these are the 2 of them. Michigan, the all-time winningest program. There's a lot of history. The 1997 championship. I understand you don't want to put any of that on the line today because you don't have confidence in Nebraska.
The Bus and Bowl trophy.
The Bus and Bowl. We didn't talk about
Look,
that.
I'm all about fake trophy games. This one's stupid.
You don't like the Bus and Bowl?
No.
I feel kind of because I don't
The
think
trophy's too cool.
Are they? Is this something just the guys are doing, or is this adopted by Nebraska? And Michigan?
Think the coaches like it.
I know they did, but I don't know if Nebraska and Michigan's
Michigan set up like balloon, unless it was photoshopped, which it looked very realistic. They should have set up like balloons and had like the cutout letters with lights in them that said Bussin' Bowl. So unless it was photoshopped, whoever did that, congratulations if it is. But if it's not, then I think the universities like it.
Well, they both sat down with the teams this respective summer,
which is just how dare you? How dare you adopt this dumb trophy, but you won't take the chair trophy? At least the chair trophy gives back.
That's right. I mean, I think it's what it is. It's one of the biggest podcasts in the sports realm out there. So you take advantage of it. It's not necessarily my type of humor. I'd chill for Will Compton, throughout his career. It's just not my type of humor, but it's at least organic. It's at least, as opposed to the Heroes and the Freedom Trophy.
Yeah.
Where it's just like,
corporate,
right.
Very corporate.
Thank you.
But I don't want to see that Bussin' Bowl score go on there at the end.
No, I don't want to see that either.
Because they got the nameplates. They're ready for the scores.
They're ready to start putting stuff up there. Some updates around the Big Ten. Purdue, Illinois. Purdue is up 28-21, about 11 and a half left in the fourth quarter.
And if Purdue wins that, the Big Ten West is back to being wide open, and like a bunch of 5-4 teams are in.
A lot of fights going on in this game.
It's very feisty.
They are going back and forth with each other. Ohio State blowing the doors off Indiana, 56-14. About 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter there. Rutgers only down by 10 with about 4.5 left in the fourth quarter to Michigan State, 24-14. I say only 10 like Rutgers can score, but they're down 24-14. Is Michigan State back?
No, I would go back, but they've definitely
they're going to get the 5-5.
Yeah, they can go bowling. Which I think there was a lot expected. They were like preseason top 15.
Oh, they were,
and they had some players. I expected Peyton Thorne to do.
They're going to get the 5-5. They have Indiana next week, so 6-5, and then they end the season with Penn State.
Yeah, so it sounds like 6-6,
6-6.
which is Mel Tucker's making a lot of money.
Look, that's a lot better than
what it looked like
when it was probably supposed to be at the start of the season. So that's going on. Games up next. Obviously, Nebraska and Michigan at 2:30. The other game in the Big Ten kicking off. Oh, they're all kicking off at 2:30, actually. Maryland at Penn State. Wisconsin at Iowa. I know Bach loves that matchup.
Oh, yeah.
And Northwestern at Minnesota. I saw a picture on the internet. All of Northwestern's players aren't wearing shirts while they're warming up. So cool.
That's really cool. I wonder if they'll win another game.
Yeah, good job. You're tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, show me your muscles. Come on.
But yeah, so those are the scores going around the Big Ten. Let me see if there's anything. I know Tennessee kind of sat up in their chair. Missouri was kind of putting a scare into them. I think they stood up. Yeah, 52-24. Tennessee's up on Missouri. LSU only up by 3, 13-10 against Arkansas. Arkansas has the ball, about a minute and a half left in the fourth quarter. Arkansas driving. They're on their own 38. We'll see how that goes. Notre Dame up by 11 on Navy, 35-24. Notre Dame not good, but they beat Clemson, so they beat Clemson, so good for them. Oklahoma, West Virginia, tied in the fourth quarter at 20. 2.5 minutes left.
Remember when Oklahoma was number 6, and we're like, well, that loss is, they're just they're at that level above us.
Yeah. Oh, wow, they're so good. Liberty, fresh off of a win against Arkansas, down by 3 at UConn.
Oh, wow. They're UConn.
About 3.5 left in the fourth quarter there. So shout out to UConn, who
Jim Moore, right?
If I'm not wrong, and I'm not, if they win this, your guys are going to hate this. They're bowl eligible.
Yeah.
UConn is 5-5.
UConn's going
Nebraska
bowling.
has 3 wins.
Tulane's in the top 25. Nebraska can't scrape out a victory.
That might make me cry. Not even the game itself.
This is great. That's exactly what everybody wanted to hear before this game. Nothing else of note, really. Virginia ended up losing to Pitt 37-7.
That's some Narduzzi ball, baby.
Vanderbilt beat Kentucky.
Wow.
24-21. Vanderbilt with 4 wins on the season. That's top 25, number 24 Kentucky falling to Vanderbilt.
Do we still want Mark Stoops?
Nope, that kicks Mark Stoops out of the competition. Every time you lose, you get kicked out.
That's how it's happened throughout the year.
And our very own Nathan Brennan is sad because Duke beats Virginia Tech 24-7.
It's Mike Elko football, baby. Big Duke guy.
Nice little run around the college football realm there. Lots of things happening. Lots of craziness happening. I'm trying to figure out exactly when I'm supposed to hit the out music. I think we have like a minute left. I'm gonna wait 24:30, then I'm gonna hit the out music. So I just want to get your guys' keys to the game. We'll start, Alexis.
Again, short game. That's gonna be the advantage here.
Yeah, I like I said, I think you're going to have to win the turnover battle. You're going to have the ball bounce your way a few times, play your best game. And Anthony Grant's going to have to, have a career game. The defense is going to have a career game settling Michigan down. But you never know. I mean, teams are supposed to get better as the season goes on. Maybe a week of practice with the starting quarterback, whoever that may be, gets it going a little bit.
It's going to be really look, you got to hold on to the ball. You've got to, like you just said, the short game. You've got to run the ball. You've just got to hold on to it for dear life and just keep Michigan's offense off the field. And that's easier said than done considering you're going against a top 10 defense. But hold on to the ball. Be okay with the 3-yard runs. And, oh, by the way, you have a 6'8", 6'7", 6'6" tight end. I don't know how tall he is. He's a big boy. Use him. Please. Dear God, use Travis Vokolek. Like, it's necessary. You gotta get Travis Vokolek involved. You've got to get Marcus Washington on the short routes. Trey Palmer going deep on a 9 route isn't the only route you can run.
Yeah.
There are many other receivers and many other routes you can throw in there.
I want Trey Palmer to get at least 2 carries today. I think you just got
to end around, get him in space.
Yeah, just get him a chance to touch the ball because that's your big play threat. Yep. You're going to need a few of those.
That's the guy that you're going to need. Again, Anthony Grant, get him involved. Chubba Purdy, going to be making the start. We'll see how much we see Logan Smothers. We'll see, if, God forbid, anybody gets hurt at the quarterback position. Matt Masker and Jarrett Sinek backing them up. Those are your two, 3rd and 4th stringers right there. So we'll see exactly what happens. But that's going to do it here for the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Everybody tune in. Nebraska at Michigan. A helmet game, as Bach says. Go Big Red.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. It's football season, and that means you're tailgating with friends, or if you're like me,